What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the conversation today. And again, I am absolutely delighted by the guest that I have, the one, the only, the legend, Shane Gooner. Going to talk all things Serie A, Champions League, and Premier League. But to start off, how you doing today, my guy?
Yeah, all good, all things considered. I was fucking dropping the kids into school this morning and the Jeep just fucking shit itself. So
Ah,
had to get towed to the garage. I'll wait till tomorrow to see what the damage is. But if I can't, nothing I can do about it now. Just wait and see what the damage is. But my book did arrive today. I was just scrolling there about 2 weeks ago, and Tony Adams has a new book out, and it was sort of the first 50 or something to order it, get it signed. So it arrived today. He'd signed it and all. So and now
nice.
I started 2 months ago with nothing signed by Tony Adams, and now I have a poster, a jersey, and a book signed by him. You know what I mean? By El Capitan, the legend, Mr. Arsenal. So yeah, no, delighted with that. At least that was a nice little piece to the day. But look, apart from that, and the month I've had with football, with Arsenal going out of 2 competitions, probably 3 if you count the Premier League, and Ireland not qualifying, and then the
Yeah.
Jeep going. Surely only good is coming now for me. Something good has to happen for me now at this point.
Wonder if that's something good is Arteta going leaving this
That would
club.
be it, man. At least that would be something at the end of it.
We'll get into that. Big up all the legends that are already here, man. Big up BBK, big up Chronic, big up everybody that's stopping in. So to start it off today, man, we'll start this off with the Serie A roundup. We thought there may be a possibility, an outside chance of a title fight between Napoli and Inter. Not happening. Inter did the business against Como in a very, very entertaining game.
Yeah.
I thought in that 7-goal thriller. Is there a chance? I don't think so. I think now it's more so this fiasco of who's going to get in the top 4. Obviously, Juve with a massive win. Rome has been struggling of late to gather points. Como, a big draw now. It's them and Rome in the Europa League, and Atalanta not really doing well either, but are still hanging around.
Yeah.
What do you make of this top 4 fight? I mean, it's a legitimate conversation between Juve all the way down to Atalanta, even though Atalanta's a stretch. What do you make of this top 4 fight so far for the Serie A between these teams?
I think it's sort of the David and Goliath, and everybody wants Como to do it because of the way they play, because they're such a small club, and Juventus are the big bad, with their history and stuff like that, and everybody wants Como. But I do think it will be. I did think Como would get it, but the more I think about it, I'm just going Juve. It's just, we've said it before, Gianni, that like especially in big competitions, that the history sometimes does play a part. The players put on that jersey, they know we're meant to be here, and they just step it up that little bit. As for the league race, a terrible result for Milan, getting absolutely bopped off the park. Como were that Inter performance was that's what champions do. That's what champions and champions elect. That's what we couldn't do at Bournemouth. I know we'll get into Arsenal, but that's what a champions do. 2-0 down, come out second half, bang, 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 bang. And the goal just before half time, that again, what champions do. And if they hadn't scored that goal before half time, I think Como win the game. I really do. That just knocked the stuffing out of them. And then Inter I felt for Como because Nico Paz, we were talking about it backstage, that guy just drives forward with the ball. And so Fabregas came out and said something, I think it was during the week, or it was maybe the week before, where about Nico Paz, and he goes, why would I make him robotic? I'll let him do what he does. It's so refreshing to hear that, man. It's so refreshing to hear that. And again, we were talking backstage about the links of Fabregas, and I'm sure we'll get into all of that. But, I was saying, I take him at this point because at least we play good football. Like, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see him come into Eze and just go, just do what you do best, man. Do what you do best. I think it'd be so freeing for a lot of these players. So as for Como and the top 4 race, I think that it will finish the league, the sort of the top 6, basically where everyone is now. I think that's where it will finish. I think it'll be Inter, Napoli, Milan, Juve, Como, Roma. I think that's the way it'll finish. Maybe a little something different will change between Roma, but I don't know. Roma are still on 3 points off 4th place. We have to remember that, but they've been so inconsistent all season. It's very hard. Are you suddenly going to pull a run together? I don't think so. Juve, I just think the experience will show, and they'll just nick the 4th spot, which would be a shame for Como, but it might mean that Fabregas does leave. Maybe he'll go, right. I think if they got Champions League, he might go, I want to stay around and see what I do in the Champions League with Como, because you could easily qualify for the knockout stage with them. because of the way it's done now. It's not like the old group format where you go, well, I'll probably be fourth seed and get, Bayern Munich and Liverpool and then it's like Bodo Glimt or something and we don't have a chance. Now you could just get a good draw, get through. So I think that might mean him leaving maybe. And I do think this summer will have a domino effect on managers. One's going to go, if it's a semi like that, and it'll just bump, and it will go off. And hopefully one of them's ours that goes. But yeah, now look, Serie A has been great this season. That Como Inter match was brilliant, very entertaining. I was watching it downstairs, and I thought it was very entertaining.
Yeah, I think Fabregas will potentially leave depending on how many players are going to get picked off from Como. There's been rumors building up. Obviously, Nico Paz is returning back to Real Madrid at the end of the season. There's rumors that Maxence Kekere is going to go to Napoli, potentially if Napoli push the reset button with a new manager to replace Conte. We're waiting to see what ends up happening with that. And I know you were back in Rome at the beginning. Do you sack Gasperini because you brought him in to change everything to get Rome into a top four, but I think the decision to alienate Pellegrini and Dovbyk from the beginning has been a terrible, actually take it up a level, a disaster decision by him. I think the lack of continual goals when Rome at one point had the best defense in Serie A, the fact that he wouldn't play him and he tried forcing Pellegrini out, who's also the captain, by the way, of Rome, I just think has been an absolute horrible decision. And I think had you had him playing the whole time, I think you would have seen more out of Evan Ferguson, because I think Ferguson is better with another striker next to him. I also think you could potentially even make it even easier for the breakout that Daniel Malins had since he's gone over to Rome, would have been better alongside other players. Would you sack Gasperini, or do you give him one more year and then make a decision?
No, I'd sack him if he doesn't get it, because it's like what we said about the Arteta football. If you're going to play that horrible football, well, then you have to win, because there's no in between. If you're going to be that stubborn, you have to win. And the same goes for Pellegrini. You came in, you dropped two of their best players, if not their two best players, or two most important players anyway. And the board have let you do it. They didn't step in and say you ain't doing that, which can happen quite often. So that to me, then, if you've done that, if you've made that bold decision, then you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I'd sack him on the spot for that alone. If he doesn't get it, if he gets it, I go, right, well, now we're selling them and we'll back you again. And then same goes next season, because it was a silly decision. It was an arrogant decision. It was an Arteta type decision. I'm the boss here now. I'm going to get rid of the two biggest voices in the dressing room. So you better win, and or you better achieve what you were asked to do, which is get Champions League football. So 100% I'd sack him on, no matter who it is. By the way, if it was any manager, I'd sack him after doing that.
100%. Big up Waffle Don. When you look at the way the Serie A is going right now, obviously you were talking about a merry-go-round possibly of managers. I think that's already starting to heat up for Serie A. It sounds like Sarri's leaving Lazio. Lazio just looks like they're going to fall into the abyss with the fans protesting. I don't know if you've seen any of the protests from the Lazio fans. They've been filling out the stadium at the beginning, and within the first 10 minutes, there's maybe 5,000 people left in the stadium. It's been absolutely unbelievable with what's going on with them. Like you said, Como. I think Como, quite honestly, falls apart if they don't make the Champions League, because I think so many people will leave, including the manager potentially. If you were Fabregas, obviously we will get into his links with Arsenal, but if, say, the Milan job came calling, or say even a Napoli job came calling, would you take that if it was offered to you, or do you think maybe he stays out for Arsenal? But I just think it's better for him to go to one of those teams than immediately take the jump into Arsenal. But I don't think Christian Kivu will leave Inter.
No.
I think Kivu will buy himself one more season with Inter, and then maybe they move on, because there's heavy talks that Simeone will be the ultimate replacement for Kivu at Inter, which I think is a match made in heaven.
Yeah, 100%. That's a few years domination if he goes there.
Agreed. Do you think, like, when you look at this merry-go-round, Sarri could be leaving. There's a rumor that Palladino could be moving up to maybe Rome if Gasperini was sacked, or he goes to Napoli as well. Allegri, I don't know how real it is. I don't really think it'll happen, but there's the talk that Allegri may go to Real Madrid. Do you think with this shuffleboard in Italy of managers, do you think it will have an ultimate domino effect on elsewhere? Because I could definitely see. I I don't know if it would happen if they would look at him, but I don't know if Allegri works at Real Madrid. But I could potentially see Allegri coming to Arsenal if we sacked Arteta, in my personal opinion, because he ticks all the right boxes. When you look at what we talk about bringing Simeone, he's rock solid
Yeah,
defensive. The
yeah,
question is the tactics going forward. But we have seen with Milan, whether it's been consistent or not, there has been more freedom from players to be able to go forward.
yeah.
Yes, they're still defensive, but you see more freedom offensively. Would you take Allegri at AC Milan if he was available, or would you like to look at somewhere who's a little bit more attacking than that realm that him and Arteta are in?
Take him at Arsenal, you mean? Is it?
Yeah,
Take him like, yeah. He wouldn't be my first choice, but again, if it was about getting rid of this guy, then yes, I think. Look, what he's done at Milan has been quite miraculous. Really, they were in the doldrums when he came in. They just looked like
yeah,
they were going to fall apart. That like you said, my only issue would be the draw thing. You know what I mean? That's a big issue now, and it's a big issue there. Um, I do think there will be a domino effect. The only thing, the way I think it will really kick off is if one of them goes to another country or someone from another country comes in, because we've seen it with Serie A with transfers as well as managers. A lot of it's just in house. It's just shuffling between
yeah.
Serie A clubs. I think for it to really kick off through Europe, a big one has to move, like say Simeone coming over or Fabregas going to Spain or something, and then someone comes over and then it'll start. If I was Fabregas, the only two jobs I take would be Inter and Napoli. I wouldn't take AC Milan. I wouldn't take Roma. It's not really, it's a step up in reputation, but then you get this pressure to win. Oh, well, he's at AC Milan now. He has to win. Especially people that don't know football will just go, oh, I
Right,
remember AC Milan were good. He surely has to win. He didn't win at AC Milan. That's not AC Milan anymore. You know what I mean? That's
right.
not the AC Milan we know. So for me, the only way I take a step up would be if Kivu did leave, or if they just said we want to play better football. Kivu, thanks for winning the league. Probably get shock horror for a lot of Arsenal fans. Big clubs do that sometimes. They still sack
Oh yeah,
managers even if they've won leagues, mate. But if it was that Napoli, and I don't want to go to Napoli with assurances as well that you will spend a bit, not a shitload, but you'll give me something to spend to jazz the team up a bit. I do look at Como as well and go, I think it's two sub appearances from an Italian player. It's the only Italian player to play for them this. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's something else they might have to look at. I think in football in general, I think that's not on, but that's where we are in football. But if
yeah.
he does go, if he goes to Napoli, I think he could put up a challenge. I do think that if they don't get Champions League on with you, and then they lose Nico Paz and they lose two or three players, and then especially if they lose Fabregas, I could see them going down. Like I really could see a collapse like that. You've seen it before with
Yeah.
Betis and teams like this. You lose two or three of your best players, and everybody else doesn't want to be. You've seen it with Leverkusen and all. You just get picked apart
Look at
and fall apart.
Fiorentina.
Fiorentina as well. Yeah, it happens. And then you end up getting dragged into something like that. Maybe not next season, but then the season after if they don't step it up. But with him having like the shares and stuff in the club, I think it'd be weird if he managed another club. But we were discussing this last time. Like, it's strange that there's not a law against us. Maybe it's such an obscure thing that's happening that there was just never a reason to have a law. I don't know. But I would stay in Italy if I was him, but only for those two jobs. And if those two jobs don't come up, I wouldn't go to Chelsea if I was him. Not a chance. Not a
No,
hope would I go there. That's a graveyard for managers.
yeah,
Arsenal, I think, would be a step up too high for him, but I think he'd get time, so maybe not. Maybe that would be attractive to him. But yeah, could he go to Spain? Could he take Atletico or something like that? I don't know if they take a risk on him. But yeah, if I was him, it'd be one of those two jobs. And as for Allegri at Arsenal, he wouldn't be up massively high on my list, but he'd be in the top 6 or 7, I'd imagine, because I was mentioning him in the last summer, that I'd take him just for a year or two because he's a born winner. Oh, he's a dinosaur, he's a fossil, let's get it right. Our manager is young and hip, and he plays the worst football on the fucking planet, mate. So you know what I mean? I ain't buying into that, and he's only got one tactic. So yeah, I'd take him, but it wouldn't be my first choice.
Yeah. Well, for Arsenal, no. My worry with Fabregas is how is he going to handle older statesman players if he came to a club like Napoli or Inter? Inter, if the rumors are true with Inter, if Barella, Çalhanoğlu, Bastoni, Sommer, and Dumfries are all going to leave, and maybe one of the strikers, and they're going to bring him to maybe readjust the team, play more fluid offensive brand of football than this in between of wannabe Catenaccio and possession game.
Yeah.
I think Inter fits him if he's going to have a say-so on the transfers. Same thing with Napoli. But my worry is that I don't really know how he'll get on with experienced players. Like if you go to Napoli, for example, or even Inter, our players going to listen to you when these are two teams that have dominated without you, that have won, Scudettes in a decent amount of time and enough trophies in an amount of time to where they're going to look at you like, you're Cesc, but we don't, we've won. You haven't done anything as a coach. That's my only worry about him, is if he's going to command a locker room like that. And that's my only worry. Cause like for me, I think Napoli, I think who we hire on as a manager and going forward this season is gonna be all depends on what happens with the national team, if I'm being quite honest with you. Like I said, for me, I wouldn't be opposed to Sarri coming back to right the wrong of 17-18. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing Maurizio Sarri back. If he wanted to come and do it, for me, because De Zerbi's gone, my first name on the sheet that I would like to come to Napoli is Mancini. Yeah. But again, it's going to depend on what ends up happening with the national team. When you look at this, though, if the rumors are true about Inter selling all those big players because of the financial situation, if you're Napoli, you end the season, yes, Conte capitulated. You're going to have to make some adjustments with players, but you have to make a decision of whether to run it back, try it one more time with the same team, maybe go 3 for 5, or blow up the team and maybe come back in a season or so. If you're De Laurentiis, you're looking at this around. Juve is struggling. They're not going to get that much money pumped in. Milan's not going to get money pumped in like that. Rome, we have no idea what's going on with that. Do you think if you're Napoli, you keep the players and you run it back next season, just say screw it? Or do you take a chance with the new manager and possibly blow up the team a little bit?
I think Conte's time for me is done there. I think he's ruffled too many feathers, and I think that I wouldn't make wholesale changes. I'd get rid of the Lukakus of this world. If those Ethan links are true, that'd be a great signing for them. If they could have Ethan Manieri and Scott McTominay and balling out like that, but I wouldn't be doing an overhaul, no. But if it depends on the manager that comes in. Again, you don't want to do a United where you get or a Chelsea or a Tottenham even, where you get in a manager with completely different philosophy to the one you just had, and then they spend 2 years replacing all the players, and then you sack him, and then the next. So I'd get in someone close to a Conte, but maybe just would tweak it, which Fabregas would. Fabregas would look at his formation and go, okay, well, I'll just switch it to a forward to back, play a little bit more fluent, and I still have the players there to do it. You know what I mean? So he'd have his number 10 there. He'd have everything he needs. Again, the Ethan thing, if he came in under Fabregas, it would be a good thing for us. If it was a loan, that is, which I don't think it will be if he does leave. But point being is that, look, it depends on the manager they bring in. If they bring in someone that's the complete opposite, it's a bit of a weird one for me, because like you said, Milan probably won't do what they did this season, because I just think Modric will probably retire. If he doesn't, he's not going to be the same. I think they just sort of rinsed the team as much as they could. I think Allegri got everything he could out of them, and they put in a bit of a fight, and now they're burning out like us, like Arsenal. But I do feel that they're going to drop off. I think Juve, will they get back? Do they have the money? They don't. The Fiorentina, they're gone. All of these teams are gone. Rome, depends who comes in. So I think it will be a 2-horse race again next season, probably a 1-horse race in the end. But I think the only other team, bar Inter, that could win it next season would be Napoli. So I wouldn't be ripping it up too much. I wouldn't be completely, because you could end up falling miles behind then. You want to, if you were to finish 11 or 12 points behind next season, then I'd rip it all up and go, well, no. But when it's just the two years, or if there was 2 other teams that could win it, I'd go, well, maybe we'll just rip it up, because the chances of us beating 3 teams but if it's only a 2-horse race, I'd say just get someone in, fresh ideas, fresh voice, have one more pop at it. If we win it, great. And if we don't, then we'll rebuild.
Yeah. That's where I'm along the lines to why I want Mancini, because I think Mancini will be a good enough blend. He will play more forward attacking football than what Conte will, but he'll still be solidified at the back. And I think if Inter loses Bastoni, DiMarco, and Barella and Çalhanoğlu, and then one of the strikers, I think that's a lot for them to replace within 1 year. And I think that if that's going to be the case, on paper, there should be no team contending with you for the Scudetto outside of Inter. But if they lose those guys, then there should be nobody. I don't think Juventus is up to par, even though they've extended Spalletti. I just don't. If Spalletti falls out, he'll get sacked immediately and they'll hire somebody else. And I'm not one to trust Juventus's manager hires right now. So I think that's the reason why I want Mancini. Maybe a quick pivot. Ranieri would ball out with that team if you got Mancini in. Like if you have it to where next year you get Noah Long back, you have Mancini patch that relationship up from where Conte screwed up. If you have Noah Long, Scott McTominay, and Ethan Ranieri with these two young kids we just got with this Alisson Santos and Giovanni, really then the only question is maybe add one more midfielder.
Yeah.
You have to find out what will end up happening with De Bruyne, even though I think we should move De Bruyne on. Me personally, I think De Bruyne, Politano, and Lukaku all have to go. But if you get Mancini in, maybe one other center back, because you need another center back because Juan Jesus just got awful.
Yeah.
He needs to go.
Yeah.
But I think another center back in, maybe another fullback and another middle on top of if you could add Ethan Ranieri, I think you got a damn good opportunity here. Maybe even with another striker as well. But when you look at we'll go transition from Serie A. I mean, so you're on the same bandwagon as I am. Inter's winning. I think Napoli will hold on a second.
Yeah. I think the top six that's there now, it'll be that'll finish.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
But, listen, I would love, even though, like what you said with the foreign player thing at Como, I would love to see that. I would love to see them get Champions League. Just freshen it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Teams and
you want to see good football and teams succeed to try and bring this football out of the slump that it's in. That's what you need. I thought PSG winning the Champions League would do it. I really did. I thought them winning it, people go, okay, so if you play that football, you do win the big trophies. But we need to just stamp Arteta out, get rid of him out of football fully. And hopefully, if we don't win the Champions League, I want PSG or Bayern to win it, or Barcelona, someone again that plays good football. And the more it happens, the more that owners start going, okay, so not only do you play shit football, but it doesn't win. Right, let's get in these coaches again that play good football.
I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't mind if Atletico Madrid won it just to change it up a bit. I think
that's just promoting handball. Although they're not really playing handball anymore.
I was going to say they're not playing, and then it's to tie this in with the Champions League preview. I mean, obviously, big up Reno, but Champions League, right? David Raya, man of the match, kept us in the game. I thought Sporting was actually. I think that we got that win more so because Sporting didn't want it as badly.
Yeah,
I think when you look at. First off, that was sad was watching Sporting try to build out from the back and the amount of turnovers that they created, the amount of turnovers that we created just outside of their box, but no shots on goal whatsoever. Nothing, no type of creativity whatsoever, just sideways to sideways bullshit. At the end of the day, do you think that this ties over with? Or do you think this is very much open just for the Arsenal and Sporting game?
No, I think if your goalkeeper's man of the match,
it speaks volumes.
You didn't deserve to win. Yep. We had that one Havertz chance. There was nothing else. Martinelli hit a little P roller at the keeper. They will have had 2 or 3 scouts at the Bournemouth game, Sporting, and they would just go, okay, that's how you beat them.
Yep,
it's that easy. It's that easy to beat them. I think if we get through, it'll be penalties or a 1-1 draw where we just nick a corner or something, Gabriel scores and we get through. But whoever we get in the next round, we've said this before about Atletico and Barcelona, they're slapping us. Either one of them are slapping us, right? So it's just prolonging the inevitable. But I do feel that Sporting are well within. If they score first, can you imagine that stadium if they take the lead? Like
if they score first, we might let in 3 or 4.
It'll just go. Heads will go. Yeah. Rice was storming down the tunnel after Bournemouth. He can barely walk. And this is what I did want to bring up, by the way, people. This came to me today because it's been on my mind for a while, right? This has been, and I've been trying to put 2 and 2 together. And I kept saying it. I've said it to you, Jan. I've said to everybody. I know I'm going a little off here. Saka played 90 minutes in a row, right, up until the League Cup final. Full game, all game, every game.
Yep.
Goes away to England. No training in between. A few days off. Goes, watches the match. They check him. He gets sent home. Oh, Arteta's recalling him. He's fine. He's just rested. No sign of him, right? No sign of him. So Rice was thrown back in. No sign of him. If now Arteta's come out and disgustingly said all the players that are out, I need them immediately. In other words, no matter how injured you are, you're playing, right?
Yep.
If Saka is not rushed back by Sunday, I would put any money that he's needed an operation all season, and that England's physios discovered that he needs an operation, and Arteta's shitting a fucking brick now that he has to give him an operation. I promise you, there's something deeper in this, because he rushed him back after 3 months last season when he needed minimum 7 months. From a great tree, and all the top gooners celebrated. He's back, and we all said, don't ever let him touch grass this season. Bring him back next season. England have spotted something on a scan that will bury this guy. I'm telling you right now, they've spotted something on a scan, and they've said to him, look, you sort this out. We'll just say we sent him home, or why hasn't he come out and said what it is? They haven't said he picked up a knock in training. They haven't said what has changed between the cup final where he played the whole match and going to England. I'm telling you right now that if he's not rushed back this week, if we see him this week, then maybe it's not the operation thing, but he's definitely in a bad way. If he's not back this week, I promise you that he has needed an operation probably all season. And they've said, here's your new contract, shut your mouth, just do what you do. And he'll either go under the knife before the World Cup or after it. But I'm telling you, there's something deeper in that. There's something much deeper in that, because he would have come out and blamed England. He would have said, oh, he picked up a knock in England training or international training, or he got a niggle. He won't even mention what it is. And what makes me even think more about it is that none of the Cantons are even asking him, because they've been told, don't you fucking ask about it. Don't you even ask. Because if I was there, I'd go, Mikel, sorry, like he played the full 90. He went away to England. They said he was only 70%. They sent him back. In fact, they didn't. They only said about Rice being 70%. They said nothing about Saka. They just sent him back. What happened in between? Can you let us know what happened? Because no one's asking. They've been told not to ask. So I'm telling you right now, there's something deeper in that. But back to the match. Timber will be back. Trust me, he'll be rushed back. Definitely by Sunday, he'll be back. If Ben White plays, we're in trouble. If he plays Ben White again, even if Timber's out, if he doesn't play Mosquera, all the proof you need. It's done, man. They'll finish us off, because said the other day that 75% of these players are either injured or in the red, and I stand by that. I think it's probably higher. I think most of them are dead on their feet. Rice was limping, holding his back in the match. It was sad to watch. Silva Mendy's finished. Saliba didn't look right. Gabriel doesn't look right. Ben White is finished. We can see that. Havertz it's the whole team is riddled. So if they take a lead, I told people as well after the cup final, wait for the Bournemouth game. If we go in drawn or we go 1-0 down, the atmosphere will drop. And if we go 1-0 down, especially, and then it's 1-0 before halftime and the halftime whistle goes, the boo ring out in that stadium. They will ring out in that stadium. Everybody's onto this cunt now, and he knows it. So do I think we'll get through? I'm 50-50. Johnny, if I'm being honest with you, if we'll get through or not.
I'm 50-50. I'm right there with you. I tell people all the time, because you heard people come out and say that there was a professional performance and all this other bullshit to try to cover up for this nonsense. If that fullback knew how to touch a ball and wasn't trying to be fancy, as soon as he would have crossed the ball over, we'd have been down 1-0 early in that game. And then now the wheels potentially fall off, starting with Sporting rather than this Bournemouth game. That 1-0 to Sporting just kicked the can down the road to the next game. So for me, it's just the whole situation as far as the injuries. Sporting, I said from the get-go, if Sporting play like they did that first 20 minutes starting the second half, Sporting Lisbon may put us to the sword in this game. If they keep the ball on the ground and they attack us through the middle the way Bournemouth did, we're going to have a problem. And same thing with down by the way. I mean, to your point about Saka not saying anything, Timber was the same way. He's kept Timber out of training for the last week or so with no word about it either. And when you think about where Timber was, especially when Lee did that breakdown of that Dutch interview that he gave out about him being injured, could barely walk, and he was forced on.
I blew the lid on that interview first. I was thinking it was Darren O'Sullivan and my chat gave me that.
Okay.
Lee, just so people know, it was me first. then Lee covered it. Well, it was my lit chat first that brought that in.
For that, when you think about that situation now with this, he may be in the same situation as Saka where he could be cooked.
A few of them are. Royce is.
Yeah.
And Tuchel is so fitness based. He's a really fitness based coach.
Yes, he is.
And he might look at Royce in the lead up to the World Cup and go, I've already got Anderson, I've got Wharton, and you're 60%. I can't bring you. I can't bring you. And I've said it's something like that will make one of these players go back to Arteta and go, I can't work under you anymore. Especially if you haven't won anything, especially if they've done it for nothing, if they've run themselves into the ground for nothing. But we've been saying it, Gianni, all season that we haven't been playing well. Like this team's been awful. Even fully fit, they've been awful. And I said this the other day that, I predicted a massive fall off by Christmas. That's why I thought we finished outside the top 4. And I still stand by if 2 or 3 teams had been good this season, we would be struggling for top 4. With this form, we've just been terrible. But the only reason it's taken longer for us to fall off is he's just had more toys to break.
Yep.
That's it. He's just had a few more toys to break. And now they're all broken again. Like a spoiled child, he's broken them all. And now he's demanding that they come back. And the way he dismissed it as well, see when he said about, I want them all back. And then he said, and the other ones, as in the Skellies and the other ones, he just dismissed them. The other ones need to step up. The other ones. Yep. You low-life piece of shit. After burying them all into the ground, you're going to do that. But look, if he starts being...
I mean, like I said, I'm right there with you. I'm 50-50. I'm not sure that we're knocking out Sporting. And it wouldn't be, and part of it is that if we do knock out Sporting, whoever we get may embarrass us.
It's over. Yeah,
may embarrass us. Yeah. Sporting, that left lane was wide open, and Trincao is a good winger. Don't get it wrong, but Ademola Lookman against Ben White, I don't want to see that.
Even Timber, if he is broken up as we know he is, you know what I mean? Mascara, and just the 4-4-2 of Atletico with Griezmann and all dropping deep, and the midfield that we have, and the way they high press. Like Barcelona, we'd probably get a couple of goals, but they'd score 5 or 6 over the 2 legs, I think. But I just think that Atletico, it would probably be like a 3-0 on aggregate or something like that. I just don't see how we beat them. We beat them in the group stage. I'm not dealing with that shit anymore. We've seen this movie. When we play these teams early in the group, it's early in the year, there's no pressure, and our team isn't running into the ground. When we play them later, there's pressure. He can't deal with pressure. The squad's riddled. He does it every time. It's like 2 different teams playing each other. Plus, we're playing the creme de la creme, who always get stronger as seasons go on. City, Bayern, Liverpool back in the day, United back in the day, Arsenal back in the day. All the good teams come good at the end. They come good in April. We've won 1 game under Arteta in April in 6 years, man.
Yeah, that's a disgrace.
In the month of fucking April, one game.
When you sent me that, I nearly put my phone at the ground.
But I even had to check it and go, no. I mean, no. I knew that April was bad for him. I knew it was. It's why I knew that we'd crumble. But when I saw it just written out like that, you go, oh, he learns, does he? He learns. And you know what, Johnny? God forbid that City slap us, right? Say 3-0, 4-0. Because if they get a high score in that game, we have quite literally gone back to 2023 when we started to fall away, and then we got smacked going to the Etihad, and you go, you tell me what's changed. Because at least then it was a young squad. They were new to it. The defense was a bit riddled, and they were still trying to play attacking football, and they were still trying to find themselves. A little bit of an excuse. You've had all the time in the world. If they slap us, mate, if they embarrass us, and I think they will, by the way, I think it'll be 2-3. I can't see us scoring, and I don't see us keeping them out. Turkey, man, is going to have a field day. A field day with Zubamendi flopping around. Did you see the ref cam of the second goal against Bournemouth? Zubamendi just, that's all he did. He couldn't keep up. So, look, I'm with you, 50-50. And I do think that Atletico will see out Barca. And we both said this now the other week. We said that Barca was one of our favourites, but we both said that the only team, I think, on this side that can beat them is Atletico. We did caveat it with, I think they're the only team that can beat them. And I think Barca would have been looking at the draw going, I hope we avoid Atletico. Give us anyone else, but just not Atletico. They know us. They know how to get past us. And we saw it. That was a masterclass, proper masterclass. And while that was happening, Igal put up about the Sporting game, Arteta masterclass. No, mate, that was a masterclass. What Simeone did was a masterclass. What Arteta did was get lucky. His goalkeeper got man of the match. Master.
Yeah. How? Oh my God, that just irks me when I hear shit like that. That just irks my fucking soul, bro. I swear, man. Because you know what it is, right? As soon as the game was over, as soon as the results were done, everybody, all those guys on the positive side were talking about how, oh, this is a fantastic result for us that it's Atletico. And it's like, brother, if you couldn't create anything against Bournemouth and they were hitting you on counter, That's been their MO for 15 fucking years under this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny enough to compare it to last year. Atletico is a different team than they were in the group stage. Lookman has changed the way that they counterattack and how much more fluid they are. That Nico Gonzalez that they had, the kid from Juventus that they had on the left-hand side in the group phase, isn't even close to being as good as Lookman.
No.
And then when you consider that young kid at Bayer Leverkusen was giving Saliba and Magalhaes all the problems in the world in that first game away, that kid's 19. Yeah. What about an informed Griezmann and Alvarez? You got major problems now.
And they weren't in form when we played them.
Exactly.
Either was Simeone on the other side. He's hitting form as well. The two boys are really hitting form now up front. Alvarez especially.
Even Simeone's kid on the right. You don't want him going. Can you imagine him against that banged up Calafiore? I mean, Calafiore, as sad as it is, I almost would say you have to continue to start Skelly at left back, even though it's almost redundant, because it's like, what more do you need to see that this guy's not good enough? The 17-year-old American kid that's on the Bosnian national team destroyed him in the internationals. He was absolutely destroyed in the internationals. And then you come back, he gets destroyed again here against Bournemouth, and now you're going to risk him against Simeone? I mean, listen, Simeone ain't the greatest right winger in the world, but that kid knows what he's going to do dribbling. And his pace is going to cause so many problems. And then it's just those two guys. Imagine if he throws a curveball and plays Sorloth to be able to let one of the other ones work underneath Sorloth while he just sits there and causes problems.
And I think he would. I think he would do something like that. I think he'd have Sorloth just to occupy the two centre-backs, which that's caused us trouble as well. Evan Nielsen did that in the Bournemouth game. He did that in the Bournemouth game. And the thing with Bournemouth is that even in injury time, they didn't even low block then. They didn't bother. They weren't scared.
They didn't need
They had more players going forward. In the 92nd minute, Tavernier, the ball bounced and he should have just run it into the corner. Fuck it, I'll hit a 20-yard volley because they ain't going to score. Yep. They didn't have no fear. They didn't. And I told people, I said, they're not coming to the Emirates going, oh God, let's just keep the score down. They're going, we move the ball quickly, we'll beat them. If we move the ball quickly, we'll beat them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm in the same boat. I actually think that I don't want to get clipped up for saying this, but I think Atletico stink out like a 1-1 draw at home. I think they end up seeing this through, in my personal opinion, but I wouldn't be shocked. Listen, no matter who we get, it's not going to matter. If Barcelona pull a remontada and knock out Atletico at the Metropolitano, it may get ugly. Either one could become an ugly scoreline for Arsenal. No matter who you play. On the other side, you got Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. I think just because the state that Real Madrid is in and that it's away at Bayern, I don't really see. You can never count Real Madrid out from something. You can never count them out.
Ongoing cricket score on that.
I think Bayern might.
I think they're going to whop them.
Yeah.
I'm going 3 or 4, maybe even 5s.
I was going to, me personally, I got 3-1. I got 3-1 Bayern. I got 3-1 Bayern.
Absolutely wallop them.
Yeah. You can't count out Real Madrid or Barcelona in this competition whatsoever.
I think Barca have more of a chance of overturning their result.
I agree. I think
if Barcelona score early, it could be interesting. Very interesting in that game.
Yeah. And Bayern, listen, the only thing that was close was that Kylian Mbappe had a few shots, but great saves from Neuer. But I just don't see them going to Germany and knocking them out. No. So I think Bayern will see them out. PSG, listen, it should have been 7-0 if we're being honest with you. That is, for me, that is the team I enjoy watching the most right now with the way they attack.
Yeah, more so than Barca as well.
Them and Barca, the free flow.
But I think PSG above Barca though, the way they play.
Oh,
it's just different. It's different.
Listen, Dembele deserved for the Ballon d'Or. He's still playing at an unbelievable level.
Yeah.
Desiree Doué has taken his game another level.
He has.
This season.
He has.
And Kvaratskhelia might be the baddest man on the planet on the left wing.
Love him.
The way he disrespected all those Liverpool players with that goal was just absolutely unbelievable.
Brilliant. I've loved him from before he signed for Napoli. I thought he was the bollocks when he came. I remember when he signed for Napoli as well. Was he number 77 or something as well at Napoli at the start, wasn't he? Did he have number 77?
Yeah, he was 77.
Yeah, and look, he's a baller, but proper manager, man. If we had those three, they wouldn't be playing like that. They wouldn't be
No,
playing like that. They wouldn't be playing like that at all. They'd be playing like Trossard, and they'd look like Trossard and Gyökeres.
I was just going to ask you, realistically, if you took the front three from PSG, put it on Arsenal, and gave PSG the front three of us, I honestly don't know if Dembele, Vara, or Desiree Doué have more than 12 goals apiece. I don't know if either of them would have more than 12 goals.
No, they wouldn't. And they'd be injured.
Yep.
From tracking back. Honestly, I'm not even trying to be bad. And you know what? Gyökeres would have 20, 30 odd goals. He'd be banging them in over there because he has a proper manager. But look, they are the best team to watch. I think a semi-final of Bayern PSG will be good for football. I think that will be like the Barcelona Inter one last year. That was the final was just a walloping, but the semi-final between Barca and Inter was just brilliant, tactical, massive last one. Both managers, it was switching, it was changing. I was enthralled in it. But I do think that it will be. I think we called it last week. I think we said PSG, Bayern.
Mm-hmm.
We said Barca, to be fair, and but we did say wouldn't be surprised if it's Atletico, and we weren't sure. But we thought it will be Arsenal, but we weren't sure. But I would like to see that semi-final. Whether we're in the semi-final or not, I don't know. I don't think it matters at this point. The odds of us getting past two legs over Atleti and then playing either PSG or Bayern in the final. I mean, it would take a miracle from me, really. Like I think next to Sporting, we're the weakest team left in it. Not Liverpool.
If we got PSG in the final, I wouldn't be surprised if PSG did to us what they did to Inter.
Yeah,
I really like it. Like it's almost for me. It's almost for me that I'd rather lose in the semifinal than lose in the final because I'm really nervous with the state that we're in that we'd get embarrassed.
Oh, it would make Baku look like a nice day out.
Yeah,
it really would. Because imagine them moving the ball that quickly through midfield with Rice and Zubamendi and Odegaard all dead on their feet. It would be a bloodbath, man. An absolute bloodbath. Yeah.
And one of the sad things is I know Suj has been beating the drum on this that he wants him to come back to Arsenal. But it'd also be done by one of our own because Serge Gnabry's almost had a revelation in that number 10 position, filling in for Musiala. But that offense, I mean, geez.
Well, Musiala's back now, banging them in.
How many goals do you think Harry Kane would score if he got us in the finals? Because he's always good for a goal against.
Yeah, probably be hat-trick settings, I'd say. But they're another team that if we got them, that front line, switching and changing with the pace of them, and we'd be dead on our feet. I would worry about it. Bayern against PSG is a flip of a coin for me. I don't know who will win that. I think that would, I suppose, that should be the final, really, if you were picking the two best teams in it. But I had Bayern from the start. The more I look at PSG, I'm going, I don't know. But I do think whoever wins that semi will win it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Atletico might have something for one of them. If they got in, they might have something for one of them. They could tie them up in knots, and you don't know.
I think, you know what? I think if Atletico got Bayern, there's a higher possibility of Atletico beating Bayern, in my personal opinion.
Yes, I agree.
I just think the way PSG move the ball, constant rotate of where players are at. Fabian Ruiz is on the left, then he goes to the right. You know, Vitinha for me is probably the best number 6 in the world, in my opinion.
Yep, he is, yeah.
He's just so class to watch on the ball. And then, like I said, you know, the constant rotation of Dembele, Vada, and Doué, I just don't know if Atletico could handle it. I'm not saying that they couldn't handle the front line of Bayern, but Bayern gives away more opportunities to teams than PSG does because sometimes they get a little careless on the ball. They get a little careless on the ball. So that would be the only thing for me as far as that. But listen to what you were saying. Who's the winner? The fans are the winners because that'll actually be 2 good games of football between PSG and Bayern.
Yeah.
I mean, that could realistically go to where it's like a 6-4, 6-5 aggregate score line between
I agree.
the two teams. So, it's gonna be interesting to see where these semifinals come. But onto this, we've been alluding to it the whole time. But Arsenal on for the quads of bottles, four straight second place. I mean, well. I'll start here. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate it so much. 400 subs is crazy. I appreciate everybody who stopped by. But to get back to it real quick, I I don't know how many more times we got to say that this is the worst game that I've seen on for Arsenal. Appreciate everybody in the subs, but it's Bournemouth was so bad. I mean, first of all, I have to give you a million percent credit. You called exactly where the spot would be in the box the day before of where the goals would come. Big up, I appreciate everybody saying that, man. Appreciate it. But just where do you see? Let's start with this. Where do you see the next one coming from? Because I reminded everybody, if Aston Villa win the Europa League, it then drops to 6. We get 6 places in the Champions League, which now means that all the spaces go down 1. So there's more teams fighting for Europe. Newcastle, whether they lost over the weekend, done it, they're still in it. Fulham is still in it. You have City, who's battling us for the title. And then on top of that, the semifinal is in between Newcastle, Fulham, and West Ham. If you get knocked out in the semifinals, you have to pick yourself up on the road to West Ham. Am I wrong in saying that I don't know where the next win is coming from at least the next 4 games in the league? Or am I overdoing it with this?
You're not overdoing
it.
I
think we're getting slapped.
Because I think the last 6 games that we'll win 2 maximum out of all of them. That's what I think we'll win. All to do with the bottling, the run into the ground, and the opposition. And just to touch on Villa, if they are in 5th place come the last game of the season, and a win might guarantee them Champions League, their manager, the legend that is Emery, will still rest 11 players against City.
Yep.
Because they will most probably be in a Europa League final. I called them for the Europa League to win it from the start. I think they're going to win it.
Yeah, you did.
He will make 11 changes on the last game of the season against City because he wants to win. Now Arteta will do the opposite. He was playing his full team last season when we had a semi-final to get 2nd place when the league was over. Right? Emery will make changes in that game against City, and all the fans will cry, "Oh, it's a fix," because he wants to win trophies and get Champions League. He'll take that risk. He'll go, "Well, fuck it, man. It's City. They'll probably beat us anyway. I'm going to make 10, 11 changes, and I'm going to go all out for the Europa League final." Now, we better pray that Palace get to the Conference League final because they might do the same when we played them last game. If they don't, they will have something for us. If that's Laszlo's last game, you best believe those players will want to do something for him. You best believe. And people need to take into account as well, when you have these Christians on Sky saying, "I'm more worried about United than City," to get all clicks, and all the Arsenal fans talking about quads and what we're going to do next year, like we've already won it, and then crying, "Why are we the most hated fan base?" You best believe, with the way these players are now with social media, that every player on every other team doesn't want Arsenal to win the league. They hate us, just like everybody else. They hate us, and it's all because of these fans. It's all because of the gals and all these guys. They see them on AFTV. They want to beat us. They see the way our fans talk, that we're going to slap everybody and we're the best team in the world and the best squad you've ever seen and all that stuff. They're going to hate us as much as everybody else, and they're going to be going, "I want to," even if they have nothing to play for, "I want to slap these pricks." And then, "Oh, well, we have all our games in London, or a load of our games are in London." Yeah, what are you talking about? They're derbies, dickhead. What are you saying? Like that's it? What are you talking like? That's it. And with today's traveling arrangements, where you get planes and stuff, it's not like it used to be where you had to travel on bus the whole way. So look, I have us to win 2 of the last 6. I said after the cup final, it's total capitulation from here. It's over. It's done. I've never wavered on the fact that this manager will never win a trophy with us. I've never wavered on it. I've been on the phone with DJBs and stuff like that, and he's going, "Look, I do think we'll probably win the league, and then he'll stay and all this." I said, we're not winning it. We're not winning it. Now DJ will go, "Yeah, no, I don't think we will, but what if?" We're not winning it. We're not winning it. At one point, I said we're 60-40, but only because of City's form, not our form. City were stumbling. They were tripping up. And I thought, maybe I was wrong about City. And I still think City will win it. But even on that last game of the season, I don't know if that will come into play. I think they might have it won by then. I really do. Because if they beat us on Sunday by 2 goals, the goal difference is already ahead, right?
Yep.
They didn't have a game in hand.
It's 3 goals.
So if they win by 2, though, it's a switch, though. It's a 4-goal switch, you see, on goal difference, because we let in 2, and they so they'll go, I think, 2 or 3 goals, or 2 goals ahead, I think, at that point, because they're 2 behind now, aren't they?
They have to win by 3 goals in order for it to be level on a goal differential with us.
No, you see, it's not, though, because if they do that, they'd be 3 ahead, because we let in 3 as well. You understand me?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So they only need to win 2-0 and they go ahead of us on goal difference, because we'll go -2 down from what we are, and they'll go 2+. So they'll go ahead of us by 1. And that's if they only win by 2. And that's if they win, of course. I'm acting like they've won it. But then if they win their game in hand by 2, then you're looking at 3s and 4s,
Exactly.
and we're not the way we're playing. And then who would you put your money on winning the rest of their games, City or Arsenal?
Exactly.
Let's get it right. Who's on form? Who's that Cherky pass we were talking about? It just dribbling with his right outside of the left. And we were watching that game, me and my missus, and Chelsea had their chances in the first half.
Yes, they did.
And I said, look, normally Arteta wouldn't be able to change anything. I said, Pep Guardiola will change something that I'll struggle to see it. I'll struggle to see it, and I'll have to watch it back and hope that I see it or hope that I hear what it is, because I love all that side of the game.
Yep.
And then it came out, bang, 3-0, slapped the floor, absolutely did them in. And then the interview, Doku, at the end, they were saying, oh, you were getting a lot of the ball down the left in the first half, but it wasn't really working. What happened? Oh, the gaffer and the coaches gave us a little tweak at halftime. Done. Yep. Fixed it.
Exactly.
So proper manager. Fixed it. They are going to, they're hitting the form now that champions hit.
Yep.
I said before that game, do I think they'll win all 8? I said maybe not, but I think they might draw 1 maybe. But I said it as well to you, Johnny. At the end of that final, he would have sat them down in the dressing room and said, if you win all 8, I promise you'll win the league, because Arsenal will slip up. I promise you'll win the league. And they're just there now going, Haaland is going to be so up for that game. You better believe he is going to be up for that game. He's going to be smashing into Saliba, smashing into Gabriel, Cherky playing like he is. The way Nico O'Reilly, if he's fit, if he's not fit, he won't risk him. But Rodri looked like he took a knock, but he looks all right. Semenyu's balling out. You know, they're just Doku. Jesus Christ, he gave Timber nightmares at the Emirates. It's the only time I've seen Timber struggle at right back. It's the only time I've seen him struggle at right back.
Him against Ben White on short rest
or Mascara. Imagine him against Mascara. He scared the life out of him. Like, so I'm looking at them going, well, if they beat us, it's not just that, oh, well, they're only 3 points behind now with a game in hand. It's our players are just going to be, the mentality's gone. It's already gone, by the way. It's already gone. And I'll finish on this. The City players would have woken up after the 3-0 against Chelsea going, I wish it was already Sunday, so we were playing them. I wish, I can't wait. And the Arsenal players are going, oh, we have City on Sunday. Shit. Mm-hmm. And that's the difference. That's the big difference. They are raring to go. Our players are shivering thinking of that game. And it all comes back to this fraud of a manager. This fraud of a manager who's been kept in a job by loads of sycophants and loads of corporate plants and all these guys. And honestly, when he goes, please fuck off with him. All those guys, all these cantons, no, please go with him when he goes. We don't need you here anymore. You've held the club back too long. You know, we need our standards back, man.
Exactly. It's amazing how we were what was everybody saying before the League Cup? All the positive people were on for the quad. Then all of a sudden it turned to, we don't need it. Then the FA Cup came. We got bigger fish to fry. There's legitimately, in the span of, what would it be, 6 games? 6 games we could be out from everything.
All of them. Well, I'll ask you this, Gianni, because I asked the lads this. If we went out to Sporting tomorrow night and then got slapped by, if you were running the club and then got slapped by City, would you sack him on the spot and say, like, to someone like Henry or Vieira, just for 5 games, come in, try and get a bounce, and we can still win the league on goal difference? Would you sack him on the spot if you lost to Sporting and to City, and just get 100%. Someone in? Yeah,
I'd sack him after Sporting. To be honest with you. I'd sack him right then and there.
Yeah,
either one.
The new top, sorry to cut you. I saw this today as well. I've seen it a few times. I was meant to say at the start, and you just brought up the coping thing about, oh, well, we don't need the quad and we don't need the new coping thing I've seen now from a few of them in chats, and some of them on stream is it's just football. Why is everybody getting so? I've got kids, I've got a life outside. It's just football. Why is everybody getting so wound up? So they're just dismissing the whole thing as, well, it's just football. Why are you getting so wound up about it? If we win, we win. If we lose, guys, these people, man, these people. Big up to the legend.
Christian said we were beating City 4-0 at his interview with AFTV. And
apparently he said Bournemouth 6-0 as well.
Yep. And it's like I said, the problem is you don't know where the next one's coming from. No. Newcastle's out of the
Burnley maybe, but even then, if we've lost the City and drawn with Newcastle, Burnley suddenly looks like a nightmare. It looks like a nightmare of a game. West Ham have something for us, man. They'll probably do it.
I was exactly going to say that. West Ham, Newcastle, Fulham, both fighting for Europe. Those aren't going to be easy games. Obviously, Fulham could be one of them because their away record is absolute garbage. But you never know with Fulham. Marco Silva just on his own is fighting for a bigger job role again, and
He's done
possibly
us a few times as well.
Yeah, so Marco Silva, I wouldn't wave off like that. Newcastle,
Hold
listen
up,
again.
always give us a game at the Emirates. Always.
Yeah,
They always give us a game at the Emirates.
yeah, and when you look at it, I would sack him immediately and just promote Gabriel Heinz to be the chief, and just run it.
But for me, it would be a Vieira Henry just for that. The stature of him, and I would tell him no matter what happens, you're not staying. By the way, you know what I mean. But if you want a job for five games,
well, if you're going to go that route, then I'm taking Vieira. If you're going that route, I'm taking Vieira because Vieira knows with some of the teams that he's managed.
They have a good start. They have a good start. Yeah, they do have a good start.
They not only have a good start, but you know what else is like when he was with Cagliari and other ones, he has that siege mentality to get that it's us versus the world. Let's get together, and it works. And that's what you would kind of need for a manager for the final run of the season. Airport Albert, I don't know. I'd rather take Gabriel Heinz because he's more experienced as a manager, although Airport Albert is experienced as well. But I would consider Vieira definitely in that regard. When you look at it, right, there's no offense. The way we play has hindered the offense to the point where you can't even expect any offense.
Yeah.
Realistically, with this, and this is why I said I don't see where the next win is coming from. Number one, this would be the biggest bottle job in the history of football, in my personal opinion. When you look at
especially after all the talk and the way everybody's falling off as well.
With the talk and the money, just alone, it's the biggest one of all.
And the capitulation of the previous champions, the capitulation of United, the capitulation of everybody.
Yeah. Do you think that this is funny? Would you put Sleggers as the manager?
I would, yeah. I would, yeah, 100%. No problem whatsoever.
But so like there's no offense coming. There's no offensive creativity unless we're relying on a 16-year-old out of the youth academy, which shows enough as it is. That's a sackable offense for me just off the top. That we're waiting for a 16-year-old. But like there's no offense coming. The defense looks shattered. What's the point of keeping them? What's the point? And then you got some of these idiots talking about, we need to reinvest in him anyways.
Oh.
What the fuck are you talking about? Reinvest? Legitimately, 10 players need to leave. Yeah. 10 players need to leave.
And they're not sellable.
And that was going to be my next point. And we said this before. I think it was on the Bruised Banana. I personally think there is a financial problem coming around the corner because if you're sitting here talking about we need to sell our two youngsters for maximum profit, that means there's something going on that they're not saying as far as accounting wise. Maybe it's the money they're allocating to put together for the extension of the Emirates or whatever.
That's what it is, let's say, yeah.
But there's something coming down the pipe that's going to hinder us. And if you don't get over the line this season, to your point to why I would sack them, I don't see how you do get over the line in the future for at least a few years.
No. I think my struggle for top four prediction was just a year too early. That's all it was. That's next season. How can you can't sell Odegaard? He's injury prone and on extortionate wage. Same for Havertz. Same for Jesus. The same for Saka. There's so many of them that are smashed to pieces that you can't get rid of. Ben White, can't get rid of him. You're going to have to rip up his contract. He'll retire by 30, Ben White. He'll be finished by 30. I think Tomiyasu, if he hasn't retired already, will. This guy needs to be held accountable at some point for this. And I've said it before. I think in about 10 years, everything will come out about him. When all the autobiographies and all start coming out, this guy will finally be held to account. At that stage, it'll be too late. But yeah, look, the reason that I say, and people go, it's crazy, they're talking about sacking him. I'm saying if we lose the Sporting and we lose the City, that I think for the club, it would he ain't winning the league then. He's just not. It's not going to happen. The players don't want to play for him and this, that, and it's never going to happen. We're just saying in a hypothetical world. But where the next win will come from, it could be Sporting. We could scrape something there. You never know. If the crowd do get up for it and we score early, you don't know. Maybe we could. But domestically, where's the next win coming from? I look to Burnley, but then I go, if we haven't beaten Newcastle, Burnley suddenly looks like a nightmare. West Ham, Nuno always has something for us. He's got this guy figured out completely. And the way they're playing, especially the style they play with the quick counters, moving the ball quickly, Bowen running at them. He's getting a song out of everybody. The defense is tightened up. You know, they're dangerous from set pieces. They can defend set pieces. So I'm looking at that going, well, that's going to be a nightmare. That could be the win that keeps them up, and that could be all of this stuff. And domestically, again, I reiterate, I think we'll get maximum 2 wins from 6, and I think we'll be quite lucky to do that. We ain't winning 4 or 5s. We're not. We're sorry, we're not. Not with the way we're playing, and there's no change in sight. Like, people are getting desperate now, saying things like, I want to see him rip the rule book up and play different football. He's never done that before. He doesn't know how. If he knew how, he would have done it by now. He doesn't know how. How can you get
went back to champagne football if that was the case? What the hell are these people talking about?
I was talking to Kenny today. Like, he has come out and openly said, I need all the injured players. He didn't say it in those words, but that's what he's saying. I need them now. So all Timber and all are going, well, I can barely walk. And I said, directly after the final whistle of the Bournemouth game, I said to Views, Timber be in training this week. You'll see him in training this week. He's been rushed back. Hincapié out till the end of the season. Calafiori drops in training on Thursday. Hincapié's training on Friday. Nobody questions it. I thought he was out till the end. Here, Mikel, I thought he was. Nope, he's in. Ben White now can't keep up. I think Ben White's he probably will have to drop to the ground now anyway. I think he's injured again. Timber will be rushed back.
As it was 4 to 6 weeks. It's 2.5 weeks. Already
2.5 to 3 weeks. He's back. Back in the team.
And wait, not only is he not playing proper position, he was playing in the fucking 6 when we were trying to go forward to score.
Playing in the 6. Jesus was in the 10. Still couldn't put 2 up front. Still couldn't do it. Couldn't bring himself to do it. His job on the line. Unbelievable.
And then the brilliant move was to throw Gabriel Magalhaes further up the pitch. And I joked with, because I was on Waffle Don's stream earlier, I go, it makes sense because he's got more goals scored for Arsenal than Gabby Jesus, who's a 50 million pound striker.
he's our goal track. Because I was saying to Views before the game, and I didn't even mean to say it. I said, he's saying, "Oh, where do you?" I said, like, I was saying, I think my heart says 2-1, but I don't see how we'll score 2 goals. I can't see us scoring 2 goals. I said maybe Gabby will get one from a corner, and maybe Saliba will play Gyökeres through. And then I just went, did I just put our 2 centre backs as our most? Is that where I'm laying, without even realising it, I'm laying my fucking hopes on our centre backs to get us goals from a corner or to play a through ball? Saliba's he plays the most progressive passes, if you want to use the modern terms, and line breaking passes and all of this stuff. And what gets to me about the Ben White situation, I know I'm going a bit left field here, but it really gets to me, is that the people that claim they love the club and they're the top gooners and we're all for this and all for one and one for all, the way they just want to bin him off without ever. Now, he does have to go. I'm sorry. The club comes first. You've ruined your body.
100%.
But if you're going to say, get rid of him, bin him off, I need you to say, because it's a shame what's being done to him. You have to finish it with that. You can't just bin him off without recognizing that this guy has given his body because of this manager. Again, played on a grade 2 hamstring, played for 3 months when he needed knee surgery. His career has been finished by this man. And for them just to go, just bin him off. Doing it with Ethan and Lewis Skelly, bin them off. Bin them off. They're not good enough. They're not good enough. Bin them off. Look at, and someone else used my fucking Nico O'Reilly comparison where I was saying that true, it's the same story, but look how one has gone. Nico O'Reilly and Lewis Skelly. Someone was using, because I've been saying that for time now. Look at these two, the same English left-footed, both came into the team at the same time, out of position. Oh, I'll put you at left back. I'm stuck. Now Nico O'Reilly's played half his games in midfield, the other half at left back. He scored 2 goals in the cup final. He scored the first goal against Chelsea. He's going to go to the World Cup. He'll probably start. He'll probably end up starting. One has a manager in Pep Guardiola. The other, that's the only difference. If Lewis Skelly had to come through City's ranks, he'd be doing what Nico O'Reilly's doing now. And if Nico O'Reilly had to come through Arsenal's ranks, he'd be sitting on the bench and be getting sold in the summer.
Yep. Absolute facts. Absolute facts. There's nothing short of facts when it comes to that. And it's, you know what the funny thing is, when we were talking about it, and to go back to like the problem with getting rid of some of these players who are on huge money, Arsenal has the highest average salary than any other team in the Premier League because of how they set it up. We only have 9 players on this entire roster that's not making £100,000. Only 9. The rest of them are all making at least £100,000. There was, I think, we got it down between.
Is there even 9 below that? Is there?
Yes, there's not.
Kepa's on 100.
Timber's on 90. Timber's on 90,000. Timber has
a new contract. Jesus.
No, he didn't get his new contract. Timber's still on 90,000 pounds. So Timber's the top one at 90, but from Timber down, there's only 8 players that aren't on 100,000 pounds.
And who are they then? I can't even think of anyone. Dauman, I
They're
suppose.
here. Hold on, I'll pull it up right now because I actually have it handy for this.
Yeah, no,
It
that's I'm
is.
surprised by. I'm surprised there's even that many that are on that
It's
low.
Timber, Zubamendi, Norgard, Hincapié, Kepa, Mosquera, Miles Lewis Skelly, Ethan.
Did Skelly not get did Skelly and Ethan not get 100 grand contracts though? No.
No, if they do, it's kicked in next year. For the remainder
Okay.
of this
All right.
season, they're
Well,
still.
Hincapié will go up in the summer as well. That's just a loan wage.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So,
He'll go up.
so is Timber. If
Yes,
Timber
Timber has to at least double that.
yeah, if Timber, well, that's the thing. If you double it, you're on 180. But it was between Trossard, it's Trossard, Martinelli, Havertz, Jesus, Odegaard, Ben White, and there's one other person. Who is it? Let me pull it right back up. Ben White and Jesus, Martin Odegaard. Oh, with Saka as well. Those guys combined, if you add up their salaries with the bonuses, it's over 60 million of the 180 million yearly salary that we give out. Just those guys are over 60 million of the salary list is them. And it's also because of the bonuses. I mean, 60 million among 7 players is ridiculous. When you look
7
at
shit players as well.
Yeah, exactly. 7 shit players that are all Saka's done. I mean, we're going to have this conversation about Saka next year. Watch how fast they're all going to cover for it. They're all going to cover for it for this season. They're all going to cover for it this season just to get to the end of the season, come up with the new excuse and all this other bullshit. And then after that, the next year, now we'll be talking about, oh, we need to spend big money on a right wing. Because that's what they're already saying. Oh, Arteta needs a left winger. What are you talking about, left winger? This is ridiculous. 60 million for 7 players. And the funny thing is, when you talk about Pep with his ideas of rotating the youth and getting them playing time and everything else, City's salary per year is 50 million higher than Arsenal. But it's because he can pay the experienced players more money because the kids that will play will still be on low-end contracts. They're not giving money away for free over there like it is over here. I mean, the fact that obviously now Saka's on 300, but before that, anybody who was comfortable with Gabby Jesus and Havertz being your 2 highest paid players is an absolute fucking disgrace.
Yeah, well, that's what I've always said that. But before the Saka contract, when people were giving out about, oh, we had a bloated wage budget when Arteta came in. And I said, okay, well, we had Aubameyang and Ozil on extortionate wage. Well, I'd rather have a Golden Boot winner and a World Cup winner on extortionate wage than Havertz and fucking Jesus. At least they were match winners. You know what I mean? So what are we doing? We've gone right around full circle, and now we're worse off than we were. Now they're talking about he needs his Mavericks. Okay, but they're the ones he got rid of at the start. What do you mean? We're going back all the way back around, and now it's the same thing that we were learning. Look, when it comes to our wage, we passed United out for the first time in our history for wage. First time in our history, we passed them out. And they've got some bloated contracts over there as well. Let's not get it wrong, Casemiro and the like. So, yeah, look with Pep, he's earned the right to pay Haaland 500 grand a week or whatever the fuck he's on, the huge money. He's earned the right to get Donnarumma in and give him big money. You know what I mean? But he's playing. He can't be on. He's probably not on extortionate wage. You know what I mean? He's playing Kusanov at centre back now. That was he.
Joseph was put it in. Kusanov's on 35. If he'd have came to Arsenal, he'd have gotten over 100 like they did with Calafiori.
Kusanov is their Kivior. Came in, had a nightmare at the start. Looked like, oh God, he's not going to recover. He hit him for a while, edged him in at right back, and now he looks like an absolute baller at centre back. He was hitting Ronald Koeman efforts against Chelsea. He's quick. He's strong. He doesn't look like a footballer. He looks really like a young kid. But this is, again, a manager that doesn't just give up on these players. See, all right, when he's wrong about it, he'll just say, I'm wrong, and he'll get rid of them. He'll say, look, I made a mistake. It's not his ego. But he doesn't have favourites. Haaland's gotten dropped a couple of games this season. No, sorry, mate, you're not playing well. Out you get. Or if you're not scoring, you better work hard. And he is working hard. Marmouche, in and out, coming into form. And I told everybody about Turkey. Oh, you were saying at Christmas that he's going to ball out. I said, yeah. But he's dropping him. He's not dropping him.
He saved them.
He's holding them back.
Yeah.
He does it every year. He's doing it with, I think he does it with 3 normally. Sometimes 2 of them kick on, sometimes 1, rarely all 3. I think he did it with Foden, Reinders, and Turkey this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if the last 3 or 4 games Foden comes in and balls out. Because he's raring to go. He's wound him up and he's got him proper. Do you want to play? Do you? Out you go. Give me that fucking ball. You know what I mean?
to your point to how he does transfers as well, he's got players where these guys aren't safe in their starting positions. They have to perform.
All of them.
That's Foden. Foden's been taking bench because, again, Cherokee for me is the best player in the Premier League right now.
Yeah.
When you look at it, but
and Semenyo came in and he said, "You're straight in. If you play, you stay. If you play well, you stay in the team."
Yeah, exactly.
That's
and
it.
pretty simple stuff here when it comes to that, and it's just like you said, man. I don't know where the next victory is coming from. I think once after our game with City's over with, I think they will either be level or they will surpass us on goal differential, and now it'll just be in their hands. And you and me have said it for time, really, since back in January. If we've both said if we kept playing hot potato with City and City take advantage, they're not going to give it up the way we have.
As soon as they go top, it's
as soon as they go top, they're going to hold on to it because I don't see, like you said, Villa. As long as Villa's in the top 4, if they finish in the top 4 and they're into that Europa League final, they're going to care about the trophy at the end of the day.
Yeah, because they have a winner as a manager.
Exactly. Now, this brings up a funny point. How terrible and how damning is this going to be on Arteta? Because you hear all the time from the other side, oh, Emery's a shit manager. He ain't that good, blah, blah, blah. If this motherfucker goes off and pulls off a Europa League final, first of all, for what, just side note from there, for the state that Aston Villa of a club is, for them to finally get over the hump and get a trophy, and it's a Europa League with him, is absolutely phenomenal.
They're giving no money as well. No
Correct.
money.
That's where I was going with
sold us backup striker. Duran sold him, didn't replace him. Getting him free transfers. Morgan Rogers wasn't even that expensive when you think about it. He's even fallen off a cliff and they're still winning.
Yep.
Like he's just a winner. He's a proper winner, man. Imagine he had stayed this long and got the back end that this guy got. We'd have trophies coming out of our ears.
That's where I was going with that, because the indictment is especially this year. When you consider Trossard was supposed to go to Villa, and then PSR came around, kicked him in the ass, and said the only signing you're making is that winger that they sold now to Crystal Palace. I don't even, the Ivory Coast winger. They recently sold him, but he's the only one. You talk about thin squad. That was the excuse last year.
Yeah.
For Arteta. Oh, we knew we came in here thin, right?
Yeah.
He's got a thin squad. If he successfully gets these guys to a top 4 and wins the Europa League, and Arteta walks away with nothing at the end of the year, I mean, the debate's over. The debate
for me, the debate's long over. Yeah, but even if Arteta won a league, the debate is over. Emery's a much better manager.
Yeah,
just plain and simple at everything, every aspect, getting the best out of the players.
But legitimately, if he wins the league, if he wins the Europa League and he walks away with nothing, this is. To your point, you've said it a number of times. He is the first ever failure of a checkbook manager.
Yeah, first failed checkbook manager in history. Yeah,
first failed checkbook manager.
If someone can name me another one, I'd love to know.
Not with the amount of money he spent.
No, there isn't one.
Not with the amount of money he spent.
Even Mourinho at Roma won a Conference League. At United, he won cups and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They win. He is the first failed checkbook manager. Yet he's got the reputation of fucking Brian Clough. It's madness. It really is. It's like I was saying it this morning. It sometimes it does feel like you are in the Matrix. It's like this is a social experiment to try and prove that people can be fooled. This is to prove the Mandela effect, or it feels that way, that they've gone, you know what? We're going to prove that people can be conned very easily because look at this. We got this guy here, and we'll just keep telling everybody he's great. And people, there's a lot of people I talk to outside that they mightn't be the biggest football fans, and I'd meet them at family functions or something, and Arsenal this year, and they're not going to win anything. Isn't he one of the best managers? This Arteta guy, isn't he one of the best managers in the world? And you go, no. I just thought he was. I've heard that. No, he's not. Yeah. Like, so it's madness. The PR is crazy. It's crazy. Canton, like Semiu did a 2.5 minute match review directly after the Bournemouth game. He's still in the stadium, and there's still people in it, so it's raw, right? We just lost 2-1. He did 2.5 minutes. And the words Mikel or Arteta weren't uttered once. Not once. How can you do a 2.5 minute match review after that performance and not mention the manager? 2 days before, he was on with your man Le Grove, this top gooner. He's a gimp as well, right? And he was on with him, and he said, I don't think that the sort of the scared performances and those performances lately and the mundane football, I don't think that's down to Arteta. It's the weight of expectation. It's the weight of expectation that has them playing this way. No, I'm sorry. And then he goes, I'm at the matches. I see Mikel on the sideline saying, get forward, express yourself. He has never said that in his life, mate.
When
You
has he ever said that?
lying bastard. No, he hasn't. You just see him saying "get back" all the time.
Who said that?
So Semiu said, "I'm at the matches. I'm commentating. I see him, and he's saying get forward, get forward."
That guy's busy chewing on concrete with that jaw of his.
I'm telling you, man. That's he's too busy eating VHS tapes without a touch on the sides. But
Dude,
this is what they're doing. Canton said today that that loaning Ethan out wasn't a bad move. What the problem this season is that the board didn't back him in January when Marino went down. They should have signed a replacement for him.
How much fucking money? Oh, okay.
But Marino's been dog shit as well, though. It's not like he's been brilliant.
Fucking money? How much? Marino is one of the players that should go as well.
Exactly. But now he's the missing piece. That's what they're all saying now.
He's the missing piece. And what's he on? He's on like 130, 140,000 as well. And he's a fucking
and I think he was on 35 grand a week when he came.
Yeah, but it's like where if he's telling people, okay, if he's telling people to go forward and be creative, let's just even say that that's true for a second, entertain it. Where the fuck is it? Then that means he already lost the locker room.
Yeah.
Because nobody's doing it.
He's never said that. He's never ever in his life.
Of course not. He has. I mean, the fact that Declan Rice was yelling at Odegaard and that back and forth and go forward, that tells you he ain't telling nobody to go forward. It's all fucking safe.
You're damn right.
It's all fucking safe play. There's nothing there.
But Joseph put it in the chat. Another thing that Canton said this morning was he put up a picture of Wiltshire. Jack Wiltshire won with Luton. He won the what used to be the glass fucking thing.
Yeah.
But he's won a trophy, right? And Canton said that it's an Arsenal related trophy.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. The gulping and burping that these guys do for this manager is absolutely fucking
1.3 billion spent, and they're having to take credit for Wiltshire winning at Luton. This.
And it's like, and I
can't even get your words out. You're so stunned by it. It's so they are so shameless. It's beyond shameless.
What it is that's insanity to me is like, well, we were talking about when you asked me if you would sack him just to fucking get like the bump, like the kick up the ass with the new manager bounce to just try to win it. And they go, oh, you can't, big clubs don't do that. What the fuck are you talking about? That big clubs don't do that. Yes, the hell they do.
Yes, they do.
And if you don't succeed,
would you be stunned if Kivu got let go at the end of the season? You'd be surprised. No, but you wouldn't be stunned. No.
If Bet Marotta, if maybe not Mancini, but if Conte became available again and Conte said, listen, you can give me a certain amount of money back to replace the players and I'll still play the 3-5-2 of Inter, I wouldn't be surprised if Conte got the job back because he'd be a safe pair of hands to continue the same way that they're playing. And again, if you replace decent players, it's wide open to where Inter could potentially go back to back with Conte at the helm, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was going to say, I use this scenario all the time. Inter Milan won 7 trophies in 4 years with Roberto Mancini as the manager. They still sacked his ass because he didn't win the Champions League. Yeah. Because he didn't get to where he wanted to go. Right. Yeah. But we would kill for a 4-year period winning 7 trophies.
Come on, man.
Yeah. And that's what I mean, that like, this is why we're the only big team. I say this all the time. When you look across every league, doesn't matter what size the league is or if people call it Farmers League or all this other bullshit. If you're in the big 3 in that league, a trophy a year is mandatory. We're the only fucking fan base.
The only one.
We're the only one that says, "Oh, this is okay." You can't go to me. You can't go to Milan, Inter, or Juve and say, "How long is it okay for you to go without trophies?"
Can you imagine, Gianni, if Inter went 6 years without a trophy, and one of their fans turned around the stadium and said, "What's your problem? We're competing."
Oh, he'd get killed.
He'd be over. He'd be carried out.
He'd get killed. Look at Shane. We cover it all the time when we do off topic. All the good teams that Inter had in the 90s where they really weren't winning. I think they were hiring and firing managers like
all the time
because they couldn't get over the line. Again, this is what you're supposed to do as a big team. Those are the standards you're supposed to have. Not this. Oh, it's okay. Bring your lunch. And all this other. This guy's like, oh, bring your house. Who gives a fuck, dude? Just go win the fucking game. Go win the damn league. It's been long enough. It's so mind-boggling to me that there's so many people that are okay with this. I've said this a number of times now. I think a lot of it is too with No, these guys forgot what it takes to win.
Yeah,
People
I think
complain.
they've been conned, though. They've been conned. You know what I mean? They've
Yeah,
been
but
conned by this PR machine.
it's been conned by the PR machine, but at the same time, it's just, oh, when you got people talking about, I don't like how everybody's talking about Arsenal. Brother, when you're the top team in the country, you're going to get talked about, whether you
Yeah,
like it or not. It
yeah.
comes with the territory.
And don't spend your whole time talking about quads and shit like that, and then we won't get banned too much.
Exactly.
Be a bit humble. Do what Haaland said. We need to be humble. What have
Exactly.
we won? Carrying on like we've won everything.
Exactly. It's absolutely ridiculous with all this nonsense. It's just mind blowing that these guys have just have this attitude that it's okay with what's going on and always coming. And then the best is, before we move on to the next topic, the best is that every single one of the people that they've said is the savior, they now want out of the club. And
Yeah,
first it was, oh, we need Havertz back. You got idiots telling DJB on streams, oh, Havertz is our most complete player. He's going to have a say-so in making us win the title. And it's like, he's never done shit. He hasn't been good since Leverkusen. Gabby Jesus' best games I've ever seen is him on the wing with City, never as a striker for us.
And even then he was
exactly. But he's the savior. It's just like, brother, why are we the only team that just don't realize this is the definition of insanity, what we're doing?
Yeah, over and over.
It's just over and over, rinse and repeat. But for the next one, basically, prediction for the rest of the season for the Premier League in general, I honestly, we're both in agreement. I think City's going on to win the league. I think City. I think I've given you credit for my last few streams saying you were the only one that I remember saying City's winning. Everybody, like myself, we all thought Liverpool would win because of the amount, because of the players they brought in. But City, I think City's right on to win. We'll be in second. United, I think, will finish in third. Do you think there's going to be any major changes to the top five? Do you think it is? Do you think the only change I see maybe is Chelsea falling out because they are so god awful. They looked good in like 20, 25 minutes against City, but I just think, first of all, that Liam Rosenior is he's a
gimp. He's an absolute gimp.
He don't deserve to be in that job space. And it's just like, it's not, I just don't see them staying in the top five, to be honest with you. Kind of like how Arsenal is. I don't see where Chelsea's next win is coming from.
No, look, and big up to Joseph. Oh no, not Joseph. Sorry, Daniel Gilles in the chat. He says, "Even gents, I've been Rosenior out from the minute he was appointed, and I still wouldn't take Arteta over him. That's how little I rate your manager. What a clown." I mean, that's what other people think of this guy.
It speaks for itself right there, because he's got Liam Rosenior, who's a fucking bum too.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be City top, Arsenal second. I think United will probably hold on to third, although their form has got quite patchy.
Yeah,
it's got quite patchy. I think Villa will drop to fifth. I think Liverpool might nick fourth because of the Europa League. I think Villa are going to start really concentrating on that now. And I think for sixth place, I think Brentford are going to get sixth. I think Brentford will nick ahead of Chelsea.
I think that'd be a great story. I think that'd be a great story.
I think they'll nick. I mean, when you have a goal, when you have your striker getting 20 goals, when you have your defense solid like that, when you have a good goalkeeper and a manager who clearly knows what he's doing, it'd be nice for the Irish blood of me as well, for an Irish manager to get sixth. But I think Brentford will nick ahead of Chelsea. Or Chelsea are done. They can't stand that guy.
Yeah,
they can't stand that guy, and I can't blame them. He is everything that's wrong.
He's an idiot.
Him and Arteta and Amarin and all these hipster managers are everything that's wrong with football. It's all about them. It's all about stupid gimmicks, fucking big screens, and all this sort of lemons. And Rosenior had the coaches with stickers on their head and stuff on the first day. And
you got in with the stickers and that, and Arteta's got these guys looking like seals with the fucking balls on the pants.
So yeah, for me, I think City or Chelsea are just going to fall off, absolutely fall off. That club's in a lot of trouble.
Do you think they stay in Europa League, or do you think there's a possibility with how tight it is they fall all the way to maybe conference or even maybe out of Europe?
I wouldn't be surprised if they did,
because they're only a point ahead of Brentford and Everton. And I mean, Everton have been
Everton will finish ahead of them as well. Everton will finish ahead of them too.
I think there's an outside chance that Brighton may do it too.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea finished ninth. I really wouldn't.
I was just gonna ask. Am I crazy to say that there's a possibility that they fall out of Europe? And I'm not even trying to take a swipe at
No, me neither.
Chelsea
Look,
like that. I think it's
we
more
just say
so.
we say it like it is over here. I think a lot of Chelsea fans. I know there's Chelsea fans in the chat. We're not taking a swipe. It's just what I see.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got to easily see Brighton. I think I've won 3 in a row, haven't they?
right. Yes, Brighton's been on a
Brighton
good
have won
spell
3
as
in a
well.
row. And they'd won one before that and then lost one, I think. So in the last 5 games, I think they've gotten 12 points. Brentford had a lot of draws, but I mean, wait, Chelsea have lost their last 3. So do I see them dropping out? Yeah, I could easily see them finishing 9th, easily. In fact,
Yeah,
if I had to put money on it right now, I'd probably say they will.
yeah.
Maybe 8 because everybody else has to win for it to happen. But let me just check here. What's the points difference? So Chelsea are on 48 and Brighton
Brentford and
Brighton
Everton
only 2
on
points
46.
behind. Only 2 points behind. Yeah, easily. They could be 9th next weekend.
Yeah, Bournemouth's only 3 points behind them. Fulham's only 4. Palace and Newcastle are both only 6. And with the form they're in, that's why I'm saying,
Well, Brentford first game at the weekend, Gianni, at home to Fulham. Early kickoff.
Ooh,
You know what I mean? So they could be ahead of them before they
yep.
play. Brighton are away to Tottenham. You'd expect them to win there. Chelsea are playing United. You don't know what United. United could easily go to Chelsea and win.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like they've got to be worried. Everton at
yeah.
home to Liverpool. You probably have Everton as favourites for that. To be fair,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Yeah, they could be 9th come the end of next weekend.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You know what I mean?
That's why I was putting the question. Am I a little crazy to say that there's a chance that Chelsea could potentially fall out of Europe with the
No,
form they're out of this
no.
manager? I just there, dude. Daniel's a Chelsea fan. He's saying it wouldn't surprise him. So maybe we're hitting the nail on the head about this. But going forward now, obviously we both think that Arsenal's going to bottle it and City go on to win. But Arsenal going forward, we have a World Cup coming up where that could be even more detrimental to us for the players that could go there, could potentially lead to even longer sustaining injuries that affect us next season. I personally think that if somehow Arteta stays, if they find a way to keep Arteta after this season, I truly believe that we will be lucky unless the Premier League does a madness again and there's a potential for 6 teams in the Champions League. I really think we could be finding ourselves in maybe a Europa League fight next year with the amount of injuries that with the amount of injuries that could continue to affect us. If you're walking in, if you're in Berta's shoes right now, obviously I don't see Arsenal doing a transfer window like Chelsea where it's just that much of an upheaval, even though that's what I think needs to happen.
Yeah.
How many guys do you realistically try to get out this summer to try to, and then how many guys do you bring in to try to make a positive change for this team? I mean, the sad thing is, it kind of doesn't matter who you bring in because this manager's such a fucking idiot. He'll run them into the ground again. So if you were to do a short list of 3 managers to take over Arsenal starting next season and a short list of 5 players to go out and 5 players to come in, how would you approach this for Arsenal going forward?
You see, the thing is, if like you said, the first scenario, if somehow he stays, it wouldn't matter who you bring in and get rid of because he'll break them up within the 6 months. Look, Eze's been out a couple of times injured. Nketiah never had an injury before. He's had 2 long-term muscle injuries. Yep. When I say long-term, I mean a month. He should meant to be out at the end of the season. Calafiori hasn't played 2 games in a row in 2006. So it doesn't matter who you get in, right? It doesn't matter who you get in. He'll break them up. So if a new manager came in, I'm not a fan of getting rid of 7 or 8 players, even though we need to. I think you'd have to go 3 in the summer, get in 3, maybe 2 then in January, get in 2, and then 3 the next summer. And then you never know if a new manager comes in out of the 10 that need to go. Maybe he'll flip Martinelli back. Just maybe. Maybe there's a small chance he'll flip him back. But he'll also get Eaton singing the tune, and he'll get Miles Lewis Skelly. And me and Rashid were talking about, imagine Wenger for the if he was still here with these youngsters. I said, yeah, the League Cup games, he would have played Lewis Skelly, Wanyeri, and Dowman in midfield, and it'd be amazing to watch, right? But if you had a manager, so it looks like the squad looks straight away. If you get a new manager in for me, the squad looks bigger because he goes, okay, so in the 10 now I have, well, I don't want Odegaard, but I have Ethan, I have Eze, I have Dowman. Well, I have a lot of 10s here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Where we're going, oh God, it's Havertz or it's Marino or it's, you know what I mean? So I'd be getting rid of Marino as well, by the way. You know what I mean? That scrub has to go. He's another one that's all smashed up now. He's going to be the same as the rest, breaking down every game. So for me, yeah, I'd get like, but you can't. Havertz is unsellable. He's unsellable on his wage, and especially even if his wage wasn't high, his injury record, he's unsellable. Jesus the same. You got to cover for his injury record and his wage, so unsellable. You're gonna have to rip up contracts. Odegaard, injuries, terrible form, massive contract, unsellable. Ben White, broken up. He's not on a massive wage, but it's high enough, unsellable. Again, you'll have to rip it up. Saka, same. Madueke, you could sell him, but you'd probably get half of what you got, and they won't pay his wage. It's just a mess. It's a total mess. And then when you add in all the injuries, and they're only going to get worse after a World Cup as well. Again, I just think my prediction was 1 year off. I really do. I think if he stays, we'd be well outside the top four. Disastrous, especially then if they bring in, the rules they're meant to from corners and things like that. Because in Champions League, the corners, we can't do what we normally do. The ref blows the whistle. And they've started to in the league now, by the way. They started to blow the whistle. And we haven't scored a corner since January or something like that. It's been a while since we scored one. No wonder that we've fallen off form. It's been a long time since we scored one.
Is it January or February?
Might be February, but it's been a while anyway. My point is that our downturn in form has amazingly coincided with us not scoring set pieces. Like we told people when they dry up, you're in trouble because we were using them to take the lead. But if those rules are already coming in, if they bring in the time wasting rules, all this stuff, this guy's finished. Like he's finished as a manager.
The time wasting rule needs to come in. The time wasting rule needs to come in. I'm so fucking sick and tired of minutes being wasted when you're behind.
No, we were doing from the first throw. Our first throw, it was 25 seconds.
Shane, you and me both always talk about how much of a lover that we are of the old Italian 90s. The Italians are always renowned for being the pain in the ass and the dark arts players. You know what I mean? But even them weren't even this fucking bad.
No. Not like this.
Even them weren't this bad.
Not like this. But we're wasting time, Gianni, when we're drawn or when we're losing sometimes. You know what I mean? Like and it's from the first minute. It's from the first minute that we're slowing it down, and you watch good teams that just get a throw and it's straight back in. Let's go. And with us, it's no, you take it, and you go. It was the first throw. It was in the first minute. It was in the first minute, and Lewis Skelly got a throw, and he's and he's
wasting a minute already.
And then he just went back to the player who he first could have thrown it to after all of that dancing around. But so managers to come in, obviously Enrique's the dream. I think that's most people's dream is to get him in. Would I take a Conte? Sure, I would, because you'd win something. You'd win something. You'd win something with him. I'm not a fan of three at the back, but maybe I think he would play it, but however, he wouldn't be my first choice. Inzaghi used to be, but I'm not so sure. But I'm at the point now, Gianni, really, it's anyone that's a winner. It's anyone that's a winner. You know what I mean?
Mancini?
Yeah. I've said that for time. I'd take him. I'd take him in a heartbeat. I'd take Mancini in a heartbeat. He's won in England. He's played in England, although briefly with Leicester. But he's won in England as a manager. His football isn't the most electric, but it's not boring. He's good with defense. He's good at getting a song out of players. He's got bollocks. He's not a big press conference guy. He's everything I want in a manager, really. Ancelotti, of course, as well. I take him. So any of these guys, but anyone that comes
Ancelotti, Simeone, and Mancini for me are my top three to look at for Arsenal, because I'm looking at it more so from the aspect of
this Simeone, yes, without a doubt, the one now that's playing nice football.
Yes,
I'd love him to come in. Imagine him linking up a Bertha again. Imagine that bad boy on the sideline, man. Imagine him on the sideline.
He ain't gonna tolerate none of this bullshit. He's not.
Odegaard's out. Odegaard's gone.
Odegaard would have to leave just off the principle because Simeone would slap him up. Havertz doing Gabby Jesus.
Royce would have that armband on straight. Probably Gabriel. Probably someone like that would get the armband. But it would be.
But the other thing for me is
be amazing. Hansi Flick as well. I take Hansi Flick in a heartbeat. In fact, he'd be very high up my list because of what he does with young attacking players. Yes. And we have a load of them.
I'm looking at it from Hansi Flick's not going to come because they're saying he's going to sign the extension. Enrique.
Oh, is he? I thought he was finishing up.
No. Laporta came out and said it sounds like they're close to signing an extension. And then PSG's come out saying that Enrique.
Surely they want Arteta, because every big club's. I was told every big club wants Arteta. No?
Looking at Arteta.
No? Okay, they'd burn the stadium down. If he was announced, they would burn the stadium down.
They would destroy that place if he got announced. They would. Laporta get voted out. There'd be all types of chaos at Barcelona.
Yeah, but why isn't he using him as a cog? Normally, they dangle the best manager in the world, the best player in the world to win the presidential elections. Why weren't they dangling Arteta? Exactly. If I get it, I'll get Arteta.
Exactly. The reason why I say Simeone, Mancini, or Ancelotti is the man management, because I do think the only worry is that, again, because of the amount of injuries, who do you have to move immediately to make us stay in that championship quality team to go run for the title.
But Gianni, sorry to cut across you. I would take finishing outside the top 4 1 year with a new manager to go again in his first year. I'd take it if it meant getting in Ancelotti, who would get all the injuries fixed, but it would just mean we wouldn't have a good starting 11 for the first 4 or 5 months of the season because he'd let them all recover. I take that. No problem.
That's where I was going with. That's why I was going with that because Ancelotti or Mancini and even Simeone, because you heard it, like if you've listened to the interviews from Kieran Trippier, how good he is with the guys on the management as well.
He got a song on a Gallagher, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, he got a sign out. He got it out of Gallagher, but they'll come and reinvigorate the player just off the man management ability and not being this condescending asshole that like Arteta is. And I think that alone would be able to help a lot of these players. Now, obviously, like you said, we would still have to see where the players are as far as the injuries going forward, to where even if you finished out of the top 3, you're fighting for 4th, you get 4th with one of these managers, but you can at least pivot and see positive changes going. Because I think a lot of these players have been so destroyed by Arteta. I don't think they really know how to play any other football now. I really don't.
It's just so programmed, like a cult.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the only reason why I said those 3 for me. Listen, I would throw, me personally, Ancelotti and Mancini and Simeone, tell them straight away, listen, we got 20 million. We were paying the city at 15. We'll give whoever 20 million because you guys are better managers. Come in, get the job done. If I tell Luis Enrique, listen, we'll pay you 30. Yeah. We'll pay you 30 million at this point to get in. But okay, so those are who you chose. Who are the 5 players that you would get out? Then who are the 5 players that, if you could, you would bring into the club?
And is this a universe where these players are sellable?
Yep.
Okay. All right. If they are sellable, it'd be obviously Havertz, Odegaard,
Jesus,
Madueke, Martinelli, Trossard.
He's so bad. I hate Madueke. How he sums up Arsenal perfectly. How in God's name, when you combine his salary and his transfer fee, he's a 90 million pound player. And and if you look at the exchange, 52.5 million pounds, what we paid for him is 60 million euros. We could have got Cherokee and fucking Lookman for this bump.
Yeah, or Semenyo.
Yeah. It's
they got Cherokee for the same price that we got Fabio Vieira 4 years ago. I mean, this is what we're dealing. This is what we're dealing with here. I mean, he still has to come back. Have they even signed him full time? Yeah, have they? Fuck me, man. Anyway, so it's basically the front line. The only forward players I'd keep would be Saka. I'd give him one more chance, get him the operation he needs. Hope that by not next season, even the season after, that he's back to something with a proper manager. Dauman, Ethan, and Gyökeres. The only forward players I keep. Everyone else I'd bin off. Odegaard, all of them gone. They're all shit. They're all bang average. Zubimendi, I'd give him another chance under another manager as well and say, you're not going to play. He's already played 1,000 minutes more than his longest ever season. And I know we're in other competitions, but that's still outrageous. He's human, right? And he covers more ground. So I'd give him a chance. The defense, I'd get rid of Calafiori. I'd get rid of Ben White. You have to. So this is a total rebuild we're talking about here, Gianni. Even a sub-keeper, we need a new sub-keeper. Like, this is outrageous what we're talking about. But that,
Did so some people just say it was a retool last year?
Oh, retool, a little tweak, right? Ironically, it was all the tools saying that. But I'd also, so if the first port of call would be get rid of the forwards, get rid of them all, and then I'd get in. If you could get in an Alvarez, I'd get in an Alvarez. Again, this has to be under another manager now. Under this guy, I don't care. Just keep the same players. If he's staying, don't sign anyone. Just keep the same players because it won't make a difference. No, don't waste any more money on him. But like, because I'd be playing Eze and Gyökeres and saying you two are going to be playing together all the time. So I'd build a team around them. I'd get in Kvaratskhelia is not going to come, but he'd be the dream sort of player. Yeah. But do you know what? It's just a matter of, hopefully if it was a Simeone or somebody that he'd bring a couple of players with him, but Berta and him together. I mean, we were going through the forwards that he signed them at Atletico. Simeone got a song out of about 90% of them. He made them all better.
The only one I can think of that didn't get better was Morata.
That's it. And he's shit. Nobody got him better. Like, I mean, it's impossible to get him better. But you're talking about all different profiles. Falcao to Alvarez, false nines, target men, pacey strikers. It doesn't matter. I'll get you the striker. Okay, good. I'll just adjust the system for him. And I'll get a song out of him. Not what he doesn't suit my system. I'm going to make him play this way.
Yep.
Oh, he's a Suarez. Yeah, went there,
David
balled
Villa.
out, won a fucking league. David Villa. Every striker he gets makes him better.
Ran down for Fernando Torres. He even had playing decent at times with
got
them.
him balling out. All of these players that were so-called washed and the young ones. So he's done both. Aguero, he had young Aguero there balling out. I mean, if he came in, Gyökeres would have a 25 league goals in the league easy under him. He would ball out with Simeone, and Eze would be getting assists through the roof. So you wouldn't have to go mental, but I'd be getting in, you know, I'd be looking around. I'd have a look at Alex Scott at Bournemouth as well. I think he's a baller. I've liked him for a long time. I want Wharton. Wharton for me is everything that people say Zubimendi is. Obviously, you'd love to get, you know, players from PSG and stuff like that. But for me, I don't even like talking about it so much because I get excited at the thought of it, and then I remember that he's still our manager.
Right.
And it's like you just woken up from a dream where you won the lotto or something, and you have to go back to life. But I'd love to see Simeone. I'd love to see Mancini. I'd love to see obviously a Flick or a Luis Enrique, but it's not really possible. But the managers that we've mentioned, I take all of them, any of them. But yeah, look, I mean, we'll see what happens this season, but we ain't winning jack shit this season. So hopefully we'll be having this conversation properly in the summer.
I think we will. I think we will because I just don't see. I don't see him winning a damn thing. The Champions League even less so than the Premier League. And like I said, I think the Premier League race will be all but decided once the final whistle at the end.
City will do the treble.
Yeah, and this is the worst. Just on a side note, if they win a fucking domestic treble,
they will.
On paper, is this the worst City team in 15 years? Is this team worse?
It's the worst City team under Pep, for sure. But the thing is with it, when people were going mad about they're going to crumble, they don't have this and that, and I was saying, yeah, but they said that when Silva left, and they said that like he always replaces them, and he has done it. He's been selling players while they're still on their prime because you're not getting it. Like Alvarez and all these guys, it's not like he's just running them into the ground and then just getting bought out of trouble all the time. Facts. You know, Foden was like the player of the year, and he came through the youth system. Nico Riley will get young player of the year this year. You know, so he's doing it the right way. Kusanov was expensive, but he wasn't crazy money. Gahey wasn't crazy money.
Nope.
They have fucking Matheus Nunes at right back. He's looking like a proper right back now. Like he really is starting to look like a right back.
Yep.
And that was they're playing a midfielder at right back. This City team that everybody wrote off. The reason I said that I thought they'd win the league is that I just thought Liverpool were bringing in too many players at once.
Yep.
I thought retaining the league is rock hard unless you're a Pep or a Jose or an Alex Ferguson. No one else has done it in the Premier League. They're the only three, and they're the pinnacle. Like Wenger should have, but he didn't. That's how hard it is. And I thought the second that the hangover thing would do them, I didn't think they'd drop off like this. I thought they'd finish second. But I just thought Pep does not go 2 years without winning. He does not go 2 years without winning. And I saw him look a bit deflated earlier in the season. But he's got a love for it. Like it's just come back now, and you can see it, and you can tell these things. You could tell during that game against Chelsea, they know they've got us. They know they've got us, and they're not sitting home going, "Oh, they know it. They know they've got us."
Did you see?
And they're going to enjoy this one the most. He'll enjoy this one the most.
Did you see the coaches? Him, Toure, all the assistant coaches after the Gahey goal went in. They all got together, and you saw Pep going like this and saying, "We're going to do this." Yep. They fully believe they're going to come back and win.
They know.
That's why I think we're going to get ran over.
Oh, Haaland is going to go. He is going. I think we'll get our first red card of the season in that game. I think our petulant players will lash out at some stage. Gabriel or Rice or something will get frustrated trying to track back.
I don't know if we'll get our first red card, but I do think we're giving up at least 3 goals.
Yeah,
I do think it'll be the first game.
Haaland will probably. Haaland, I wouldn't put a pass in the bag of hat-trick because he is waiting. He's waiting for this game.
He's waiting. Yeah, and what's scary is
Zubamendi's going to be marking Cherky.
Yeah, that's what Cherky's going to get marked by Zubamendi, or if he gives him the freedom, he's going to pull Rice out of position, and then Zubamendi's going to be the defensive player in the middle. You're fucked either way.
Yeah, out dead on their feet, and their players are full of energy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be a bloodbath, I'd say, a bloodbath.
Yeah, it's absolutely,
and there's no coming back from it for it mentally with the Arsenal players.
Oh no,
no coming back from it.
They'll be exactly to what we said. If you lose to City Sunday, and like I said, if we make it out of the Champions League, especially heavily, You're going to go in. You got to face Newcastle, Fulham, West Ham. That's the next 3 games in the league. And potentially, if it stays how it is, Atletico. You got 5 games of straight up dogfights.
Yep.
That team's not going to have the mentality to get through those games if they get slapped up by City. If they miraculously pull a draw out at the Etihad or a win, maybe you might
I
see
said this morning and I stand by it. I think even if we somehow won 1-0, City will still win the league. I think City will still win the league. I really do. I just because it would be it's not going to happen, by the way. But if just say Gabriel scored from a corner early, and then we just did what we did last year and just put 10 men in the box and just somehow got a 1-0 win, they would go win their game in hand. They're only 3 points behind. We'll slip up again. We always do. We always do. Look at Bournemouth. It'll be Fulham or it'll be Palace or it'll be someone. They'll still beat us on goal difference. But not that we're going to beat them. And people will be clipping this up and saying, these fucking bottom gooners. This is just what I see. I said City from the start. I'm sticking with it. I haven't changed my mind. Even when we were 9 points clear, I was talking to people on the phone. They're saying, yeah, I think we're not going to do it. He'll find a way to blow it. And I was the only hope I was getting was from City drawing a couple of games and going, oof, maybe not. And then I saw them beat Liverpool and I was all right, here we go. Now they're motoring. And then when they beat us in the final and then they slapped Liverpool, the last 2 games, 2-0 in the final, 4-0 in the cup, and 3-0 away to Chelsea. That is champion. We would never, not 3 games in a row, do that. Never. Clean sheets. Oh, their defense is washed.
And the only game that I can think of where the second half was a completely different story, like how it was, because Chelsea did give them a bit of a go in the first 20, 25 minutes. But then after that, when they came out in the second half,
was over. It was over.
The only game that I think that I can recall where it was like that for Arsenal was 2 instances. Atletico in the group stage and Aston Villa once Onana got injured.
Once Onana went off, And even, both of those games, though, Gianni, we only had 10-minute periods where he put all the goals in. The rest
that's exactly what I was going to say. It was a 10, 12-minute period at best.
They just dominated.
Yeah. And again, it goes back to what we said, Shane. I don't think if we just even in the Premier League, but if we roll back the history books in any league, I don't think there's a single team that has played where they haven't put in a full 90-minute performance in any game and won the league. This is why I say that, like, Arsenal's trying to do something that's never been done before in that way.
Yeah. It's not possible.
And I think Simon Jordan said it the best. Instead of trying to kick the door down and say that we're here, we're trying to do the old soft, patiently navigating to try to get to a trophy rather than City blowing the doors off of teams and saying, no. We were behind. They gave it up. We're coming to win.
We're going. Is there any chance I could just maybe? No. Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to disturb you. That's what we're doing. Instead of kicking the door down and saying, give me that, as the gal said, give me that. I'll take it.
Great composure, lad.
Oh, these Mongs, man! I'm telling you, they need to go with them. They have to go with them.
It's fucking insane, man. It's insane. So City, Arsenal obviously finishing second. You have United finishing third. You have Liverpool fourth, Villa fifth. How do you think if Villa win the Europa League and Palace win the Conference League, obviously then it goes even further down. How do you think this ends for the rest of the European spots with how close it is?
Let me just pull up the table here. Like I said, I think Chelsea ninth. I think Chelsea will finish ninth. But now that I'm looking at it, and I just think put Chelsea down to ninth and push everyone else up one. So Brentford sixth, Everton seventh, Brighton eighth.
Could you imagine if Brentford made the Champions League?
Be amazing. Love to see it. They'd get in. You know what? They would get in automatically ahead of Celtic or Rangers or Hearts if they win the Scottish League. That's mental. That's unfair. Yeah,
it is unfair.
It's really unfair.
And it sucks because you know what? If Hearts pulls it out, they should be given the Champions League spot.
They won't. Sadly, they won't.
You don't think so?
No. Again, if it was the other way around, if it was Rangers or Celtic, you go. It's just Hearts have done this in the 80s. I think the last time someone came close to do it, I think they were miles ahead. I can't remember. It was 80 something or other, and they bottled it last 2-3 games. It's just a mentality. I'd love it to happen. It'd be good for Scotland. I think. Yeah, I really do. But I just. It's just because it's what is it since 80. Since Aberdeen under Ferguson. Since then, it's been Rangers or Celtic every single year that's won it. Yeah. Like it'll be good for the league. It'd be good for the league if they won it. Yeah, but I don't think they will. Didn't they draw at the weekend as well? Didn't they? They slipped up at the weekend as well.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe they drew at the weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, way to the bottom team, way to Livingston or something like that as well.
Yeah,
I think. So this is when it
Livingston.
starts to get in your head.
Yep.
You know.
Okay, so drop Chelsea to 9th. Everybody move up. You know what? As well, for a big club, that'd be awesome for Everton to get European.
Love it, especially with the new stadium, because I had them fighting relegation. Or not fighting. I thought they wouldn't do too well this season. I thought the new stadium, but they got the atmosphere there from the first game.
Yeah,
the first game, they got the atmosphere there.
Would you take that Ndiaye?
I love him. I think he's a great player. Under a different manager, I'd take.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think he's a baller. I really do. I
think I would like to be honest with you. If I realistic, okay, obviously I would love to see a world where we get Diego Simeone as the manager just for this scenario, and you got Julian Alvarez and Gyökeres as the guys up top, and then you bring in like an Ndiaye to be the left wing, and you play 4-4-2, and then you just wait and see what ends up happening with Saka.
What happens to Eze then, though?
I
play him as one of two.
I personally put Eze out on the right and fight Saka, because I think with the way Simeone plays, he's going to be more central anyways. When you look at the way the wingers with Simeone play, they end up more central with the way they collapse. And I think
it's like a 4-2-2, isn't it?
It's almost, and I think that fits Eze more than being an out-and-out touchline winger. If he's able to come more central, kind of like how it was with Palace. He was out on the left. He picked the ball out closer out to the wing, but was able to float middle. I think if you were to do that with an Ndiaye and an Eze as a more 4-2-2-2 in the offensive phase, I think that would fit really well.
And your man Ndiaye played a lot out the right when Grealish was playing, so you could even put Eze out the left and
exactly
mix it up.
Exactly.
But, if you did get a Wharton then or something as well, and you give Rice a bit of a rest, and you put Wharton and Rice together, would be able to do a bit of box to box.
You know who else I would put in there? Because I keep track of the financial thing. Because
Lewis Skelly as well, man.
Lewis Skelly as well, but you know who else? Tielemans. Depending on what happens with Aston Villa, if they're going to sell somebody, I would.
We could have got him for free. Could have got him for free.
Yeah,
but we spent 65 million on Havertz instead.
He's awesome. I love Tielemans.
Tielemans is a brilliant player. But I would love Lewis Skelly in there. I'd love Lewis Skelly in there beside Rice. That'd be fantastic.
Could you imagine having a Rice Tielemans pivot and Skelly's the guy that comes in off the bench, or you sub off and you got Skelly there, and then you can put Tielemans in.
Even then, having Zubamendi on the bench if he's fresh and you're using his minutes, and then you have Dauman coming off the bench, and if you're winning, you could take one of the strikers off and just play Dauman as a false 9 behind it. Oh man, see, this is the problem. You get excited thinking of a proper manager. I'd love to be going into games going, this is the 11 I think he'll pick, and getting 4 of them wrong. I'd love that. You know what I mean? But now I'm surprised if I get one wrong. And that's normally because he's acted like someone's fit when they're not with Arteta. Otherwise you'll pick the team, and the opponents can pick the team. You can pick when he'll make subs. You can pick the way he'll play. You can pick everything about the team. And now we're being found out. Now they're just going, well, don't press the keeper. You'll beat them. Because then they go long, and then Gyökeres can't win the header. And all of their midfielders are back in close to their own box. So when you win the header, your midfielders are open. They have 20-yard space all around to pick the ball up, and you go again. Or else they're playing it to Zubamendi or Rice, and none of them are good on the half turn, and you win it back. We're finished, man. Absolutely finished this season. It is over.
The crazy thing is with that long ball, too, just before we wrap, this shows even more why this touchline winger bullshit doesn't make any sense. Gyökeres can't even win the ball in the air to begin with. You would think a competent manager would tell the wingers, you know what, get more central in case if he does win the ball, you're already there to get on top, and it helps us out. Because you look at the game against City in the League Cup final, we couldn't win a second ball to save our ass.
No.
And that's why that wave where they just scored the 2 goal, where O'Reilly got the 2 goals in 4 minutes, it was just wave after wave after wave after wave of attack. Sooner or later, you're going to give a goal up. Whether you have a world-class goalkeeper or not, you're going to give a goal up in that way. And it just doesn't make any sense at the fact that we know, you just seen what Gyökeres did with Sweden. Why can't we do any of that? As soon as he gets put in a position where he can score goals, it's just one-time finisher, he's going to score. Why complicate this shit? It makes no sense whatsoever. No sense whatsoever. So But listen, Shane, hour and 55 gone like that. It's always like this when you and me talk
Oh
football.
man,
We
come on.
always a pleasure talking football with you, brother. Do you want to shout your channel out before we end the stream? What do you
Yeah,
got on,
of
my
course,
guy?
man. Look, first off, thanks for having me on. I could talk football with you all day, and the chat's been absolutely amazing as well. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, so full Irish tomorrow, of course. And hopefully I get me. Hopefully the damage to the Jeep isn't too bad. Hopefully it's repairable. And then what day is tomorrow? Tuesday. So then we obviously full Irish the whole way through. Match reaction on Wednesday. Bruised banana on Thursday, and hopefully an off topic at the weekend as well. So loads of
Yeah,
stuff coming up.
yeah.
Make sure that if you haven't subbed over as well, that you're subbing to and you're liking the stream and all that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, friend, I like to say that I love my shows, but Off Topic's my favorite show to do on YouTube. I think it's the
Come on.
best footballing show there is. If
I
I'm being
really enjoy it.
buddy. Listen, guys, absolutely appreciate it. If you haven't subbed, go over and sub. This man is an absolute legend. He talks nothing but facts. Whether you like it or not, he talks nothing but facts. One of my favorite guys to listen to on YouTube, if I'm being quite honest with you. The Bruised Banana. Hey, the Bruised Banana is one of the best shows as well. Nothing but facts when it comes to Arsenal.
Yeah, it's good.
On that show. So, but appreciate everybody that stopped by for the conversation. We will be back tomorrow with a call-in show to recap the second legs tomorrow for the Champions League, and we will preview the Arsenal game. Just want to say thank you to everybody. I appreciate it. Hitting the 400 subs was absolutely massive. Appreciate everybody who's done it. Hope everybody has a blessed night. And yeah, we're out.